Ladies and gentlemen, welcome yet again back to another edition of some EGL One action. We are here in Season 2, yet again in the lower bracket as we continue with some Elimination Dota, as we determine the teams that really have the opportunity to lift the crown at the end of the day and become Season 2 champions, hopefully trying to wrest it away from the defending champions thus far. Let's see how it's going to go. It's going to be fun tonight. We're going to be in for some really hype action. On the one side, we have Black Rabbit Gaming taking on the side of Game Has Changed in a BO3 showdown. One of these two teams stays in the tournament. The other one goes home. And to see how this is all going to pan out, we're going to be bringing you all the action. And by we, I mean myself, Snare, and my good friend here, YNROC. What's good, fam? How's it going? And, right now you must be feeling like Prince of Persia, hoping to turn back time a little bit, hoping you keep those crystals.
Yeah, no, it's great to be back. I mean, it's great to be back with you again. Last time we got a nice little bit of the match. I believe it was XD White Rabbit Gaming that we cast there, and such good memories going forward. And I think we're going to have the same sort of thing out from these two teams here. Both of them dropping down into the low bracket. Black Rabbit losing out to Energy, and then Game Has Changed taking out Grave Type 5 in a nice best of 3 as well to make it here. So it's going to be Elimination Dota. That's plain, simple, period, print the page, save, export, send it overseas. That's it.
But it's kind of like what you mentioned, right? It's not just like straightforward Elimination Dota, because the one team has had to come purely from the lower bracket, hoping to make that deep run, right, from the side of Game Has Changed. But for Black Rabbit Gaming, this is a team who, from the jump, right? If you remember back when we did the initial podcast to announce the season itself, we were talking about this being a team to keep your eyes on, a wild card, black horse kind of team. And they went down 2-0 against Energy, but going down against Energy, obviously not a situation where you're going to say that's a bad team overall, right? A lot of teams have lost 2-0. Even some championship caliber teams have gone down in the situation. So it feels like they're coming into this situation looking not just for a way forward in the tournament, but also a way to prove themselves, right? To prove why they are so highly valued. So they kind of have this chip on their shoulders, which we've seen sometimes it can make things more difficult for the quote-unquote lower ranked team in the side of Game Has Changed. But at the same time, it might lead to the team getting over cocky and not taking the game as seriously as they should be otherwise. So, like, what do you think the tale of the tape is going to tell us here between the two teams, given that kind of history?
Now, on that sort of note of the teams not taking it as seriously, you've got to keep in mind what happened in Season 1 last time around. So last time around, let's start with Game Has Changed. They lost out in the first round of the low bracket. I can't remember exactly who. I don't know. Aura took them out in a nice clean 2-0. It was a good match. I believe I casted that one as well. And I mean, there was a little bit of a disappointment for them because they've been playing for a while together as a team, and they've been practicing and such. So it was a bit of a bummer to be out so early, but that's just the card you draw at the end of the day. Then you switch over to Black Rabbit Gaming, which last season was Team Pingu, and you're sort of in the same position as you are now. You lost out to last season. They lost out to XD, dropped down low bracket again. Not a team that you're very distraught to losing against. But now they're also facing up against a team that they should win. But we said that last season.
Exactly.
Hayes, and you were there.
And I was there. Yeah, I was there when I saw them get dumpstered out. And it broke my heart because 66 was my boy. But, these things do happen, right? And Dota's one of these things. And that's actually why I bring it up in this situation, because it's not just a hypothetical. It's happened to this team before, where being favored, you're coming in on a hot streak. You are the ones that are sort of like the dark horse, but anything happens. It's Dota 2. You're not prepared on the day. You don't take your opponent as seriously. So, I'm hoping that year of experience, well, not a year, but, it feels like a year. Like, there's been like, what, 4 patches, it feels like, since then. It's a lot of change in the Dota landscape. And I'm hoping that now they're a bit more serious about it. But that also means that gamers have changed from jump, right? They can't necessarily be relying on the... you can't rely on the arrogance of your opponents at this point. You also have to bring your best foot forward from jump. But also, it's kind of a new patch here, YNROC. There's a lot that's different in 730E. In particular, pretty much every single winning strategy from TI is no longer the thing, right? You can't do it anymore. So there's no one's buying... Buying Falcon Blade sucks, buying Battle Fury sucks, picking Magnus, not really as much fun. Buying Helm of Iron War, hating life. There's so many things that are just like now more difficult to do in Dota, right? So that also might lead into an advantage for the team that might be more willing to experiment, and that tends to be the team that has less favorability coming into the matchup, right?
Now it's the thing of what do you have to lose, What does Game Has Changed have to lose going in here? They're playing against a team individually. Each of them are very, very highly skilled. And they used to be part of a long time ago. I think they were part of Omnius, if I'm correct. and then they went out on their own. They started playing last season. So game has changed, all to win here. But Black Rabbit, they got to sort of stop history from repeating itself. And on that note, we did see yesterday White Rabbit Gaming allowing history very nearly, not to repeat itself, and they moved on through the lower bracket. As of course last year they also dropped out, which was the other upset from the season. So maybe this is the time for Black Rabbit to go forward and try and get to that top 5 spot later on. But again, we gotta see. It's elimination Dota. You already see this sort of I don't want to say tentative, but like there's this little itch of, okay, we got them. We win this. We're going through, and then you got to keep on that momentum the whole time. We saw it in game 1 yesterday with VDRXP, V-Drop, sorry. They were just rolling over White Rabbit that first game. And yeah, I think we're nearly going to be into the game here, but I wanted to ask, well, actually, sorry, I wanted to say, firstly, thank you for actually calling me by my proper name. YNROC. I appreciate it.
Listen.
You're like the one of the few people I've not had to ask, so thank you.
Fortunately for you, right, I listened to enough rap to know that when you've got all the caps, right, we've got to pronounce each letter individually, you know. I got you. I can't
put the periods in between, man, because then it's like, it doesn't look good.
Yeah, it doesn't look the same, you know. Just keep it as it is right now, you know. YNROC, I like it, you know. And you know what we also like, YNROC? We like Dota 2 drafts.
I love it.
Now we also love about Dota 2 drafts. Now that everyone has been changed, now that the patch has dropped, we don't have to worry about Magnus.
It's all
Like
gone.
it. I'm so happy.
Although we are seeing Tiny still quite a bit. And he's gone.
Yeah, Tiny's still dumb. Tiny's still dumb. Get rid of Tiny. Tiny wasn't nerfed nearly enough. I mean, it did have a suite of changes. In particular, for me, the change that really hurt the most was the change in the splash damage. It's woof.
Yeah.
Woof. That was
no more of those quick 1-2 Echo Sabers into the toss, and you get that extra bit of damage. Yeah.
But
it's sort of like the old Sven before they patched it with his Aghanims, that as soon as you hit, it would apply a hit.
Oh my god.
Then you did the double
Echo
Saber.
Yeah.
Cut it. Nope. Not happening anymore. And then Magband as well. Okay, I'm wondering if they maybe watched game 2 yesterday. Because it was a sick combo.
You know, there are certain heroes in Dota 2 that even after nerfs, right, it takes a little bit of time for players to catch up, in the sense that you still, you don't change your strategies on a dime overnight, right? It still takes some time to really reorient yourself towards what the new game state is. And even in a reduced capacity, like you said yesterday, we saw Magnus being very effective. So still banned it. It's fine. I'm okay with this. I'm fine with this. But I haven't had our first pick yet. What do you think actually from the new patch, or what are you going to be seeing as our overall premier picks in the drafts nowadays? Like, I haven't actually made up my mind yet about like what's actually good in this meta right now.
No, it's very tough. I've always sort of looked at it as you have your core heroes that every meta is sort of defined around. So you have this sort of 1 and 2s, and then if it's not that, you can pick one that's similar. It sort of gives you the same thing. Or then if that's a ban and it's a big counter to another hero, so I'm thinking back to TI7, TI8 days, the Spectre versus Drow matchup. So sort of that sort of dynamic. But when I'm looking at purely the POS 1 role right now, it's very tough to see what teams are leaning towards. It's sort of like you said, they're still hatching on to what was done at TI with your Tinies, with your... I'm blanking.
I mean,
Tiny was just all I saw.
Tiny,
that's just
so many Tinies. There's so many Tinies.
It's just Tiny.
Oh my gosh.
Tiny into Tiny.
Spectres every other game with Aghanim Scepter rushes. Actually, it's interesting that you like reference Drow, because Drow is one of these heroes that I actually think is going to start making a deeper splash. Whenever you have these heroes that have absurd agi gains, the percentage changes to their abilities is never ever a joke. So marksmanship is better percentage based at this point. So that hero is going to, in my opinion, get a lot more currency going forward, a little bit faster in the lane. And we see an interesting start to the draft though. On the one side, Weaver Undying, not really something that we haven't seen before. This Rubik, something that we have seen, but very rarely in the opening phase. And this time around for GHC, it wasn't just an opening phase, but it was the first overall pick in the draft itself.
Yeah. I've always seen a Rubik as in the first phase pick, unless it's like a direct, okay, we want to steal that spell. It's sort of this thing of, now you got to choose and pick what you're gonna pick on your side, just purely because here's Rubik, play against it. It's like, what's it? Secret picking Magnus for Zai every single game. Not last year, but previous. I'm thinking 2020 season, and it's just a safe pick as well because it gives you a stun, it gives you a bit of nuke, it gives you a bit of team fight depending on what you have. So it's a safe pick that you can just go forward with.
Team back.
See what else they follow this up with. We go
There
for
we
the Doom.
Doom.
Oh, gotta love Doom.
Yeah.
Good old Doom pulling through, doing the right thing. So having him available in the game does mean that it's a lot easier for them, GHC, to pick their fights, pick their targets. This hero did also receive some nerfs, but cost range nerf, I don't think the hero wasn't just good for the Doom itself. Like everything else about the hero is still pretty good right now. A lot of the lane counters are a bit worse, so should be possible for them to get away with this hero. And also it will frustrate any impact that 626 might want to have with heroes such as Void Spirit, for example, from the mid lane. Having to play into this Doom hero, not always that fun. So BRG, we'll see if this affects how they want to conceptualize this draft going forward. But I like this Doom pick right now. But also one of these heroes that's also nice and versatile, right? Rubik, not so much, but Doom can fulfill any role. And if need be, they can consign it into a support capacity to try and balance out the draft for the forward.
10 seconds
No,
remaining.
that is definitely it. It's sort of, we saw it not long ago, that flexibility, like you said,
5
mid lane,
seconds remaining.
safe lane, off lane, any lane. Let's go.
Yeah.
I like the Grim ban. So there we go. Not gonna have a +5. Here's the thing, right?
Dire
You always
team
look at a
back.
Grim and a Doom pick, and you're like, oh, the double Doom is gonna come out. It's gonna be so sick. But Grim alone on its own is such a good hero. It's such a good hero when you're in a team fight because it gives you a stun, gives you a silence that you have to actually get rid of, otherwise it's just going to come back at you. Gives you a slow, gives you a nuke, gives you somewhat control when you
10
have them linked
seconds
together.
remaining.
So if you stun one of them, even if it's not going to transfer over to the other one like an
5
AoE stun, you're
seconds
still going to lock them
remaining.
down, sort of like a Dream Coil. So Grim, I still think, is one of like the best
Radiant
supports
team back.
for team fighting mid game, and I guess they ban it because hell, their Doom's there as well. So might as well get 2 birds with 1 stone.
I think it's also one of these things where whenever you see the last game I cast with Halberd, we saw this, the Doom Grimstroke. The lane itself is the most disgusting part. Double Doom is crazy, but the lane
10
is
seconds
intolerable,
remaining.
honestly. The Inkswell on top of the Doom just runs forward,
Yeah.
always able to challenge
5
anything. You get the
seconds
bonus
remaining.
movement speed from the Scorched Earth. Pretty much impossible to run away from the stun. Just get bullied out of lane constantly. And to make matters worse, whenever you have games with Grimstroke and Rubik, all the spells are instant cast, so it's not like you, as soon as the Soul Bind connects, you have the double spells coming out. It's pretty annoying, pretty bonkers, very difficult to deal with. And of course, we've already seen that Weavers in general, like you said, don't want to be dealing with the silences such as Phantom's Embrace, so good ban on that. They also take out actually a lot of team fight on the side of GHC
Yeah.
though. Medusa taking out Mars and Slaughter, and now that there's an opportunity and they don't have to worry about the lane as much, BRG going for this Beastmaster. So we have not just a lot of vision here, YNROC, but a lot of presence on the individual fighting capacity between this Weaver and the Beastmaster on their side.
Yeah, no, the Weaver Beastmaster is
5
going to help a lot. I
seconds
was
remaining.
about to say, hey, maybe we can get a Weaver here from sorry, not a Weaver, Morphling from GHC, because you have some nice morphs into the Weaver or the Undying. You get that Tombstone with a bit of the team fight, and if you go into the Weaver, you have that extra bit of maneuverability besides just your waveform. But the Beastmaster now sort of taking that pick away because you don't really want to get just held down and then have the other 2 cores lay into you like that. Any chance this is going to be a core Weaver, or is this sort of set on a 4? Well, now that we have the Beastmaster.
Radiant team.
I don't think they know yet either. I think they're going to decide on it. It's becoming increasingly more difficult to justify though. You're playing into Crystal Maidens, got the root available
Yep.
to keep you down. You already have Rubik, already have Doom. I would hope that this is not going to be a core Weaver, but it depends on what they decide to put into the mid lane. If they get some hero like, if they still do want to go for the Void Spirit and say whatever, throw caution to the wind, or maybe even like, DP is not as good anymore, but some kind of hero that can just take pressure and heat away from the Weaver, allow this hero to play a bit more riskily. But oh, actually, damn.
Yeah.
You see, now I'm very hot to it, right? Because I'm seeing this Ursa, and if I'm playing Carry Weaver, I really want to play Carry Weaver against
Yeah.
Ursa. You kite this guy all day long, all day, every day. So I don't know. Now they might be debated into thinking about this, given that the fact that this Ursa is available.
Radiant team.
But do you want to go sort of that defense? Ooh, hold that thought. Oh,
Okay.
it's a lot of vision.
It's a lot of.
It's a lot of vision, and it's a lot of burst and control here. Assuming he's going to go sort of this tempo build where you go the 2 nulls straight into the Ags.
10 seconds remaining.
Well, the Ags were slightly nerfed, but it's not that bad. This is going to be very nice.
5
So this
seconds
core
remaining.
Weaver's looking better now.
Okay, hear me out. Right.
Yeah,
So
gotcha.
with this Tinker pick right now coming out, The only lockdown they have on the side of BRG is this Beastmaster with Primal Roll. They have literally nothing else, right?
Yeah.
So it feels a little bit sus for them to go for any kind of other carry right now, because the only other carry that I can imagine them picking that helps them with the lockdown situation is either Sven or Faceless Void, neither of which seem very good for the game right now. Spectre might have been decent just to like try and overwhelm them with vision control, but that's been taken out by GHC. So I kind of feel like right now you go Weaver, right, in this carry role. You pick up, Earthshake is not that good right now, but you pick up some kind of other position 4 that has a stun, even if it has to be something that's a bit subpar, some Pango or something, just any kind of disabled disruption in the middle of the fight. Hell, I'd even take a Bane at this point if it's still in the game, but just something to hold these heroes down long enough. And you know, GHC, they have a lot of lockdown, right? But it feels like they have to actually expend it on Tinker. They have to expend it on Beastmaster. The fights are not easy if they try to target the Weaver all the time. So Weaver, even if it is the core, doesn't feel like it's a good idea to prioritize targeting him in the middle of the fight, at least for quite some time in this game. So I think you can maybe get away with having him in that safe lane position. And then you just need like overwhelming lockdown elsewhere in the game. Otherwise, it feels like, where's their team fight right now on the side of BRG if they don't do that at the very least?
Sort of a damned if you do, damned if you don't scenario.
Maybe Lion?
I'm looking at the bands. The Lion can work. I really want them to go. Ooh, what about Shaman? Mega push.
Radiant
Shaman could work, actually. Shaman could work.
Yeah,
Shaman could work.
Shaman. Hold the someone down. You don't have to waste the raw to just hold someone in place, because you have the tombstone, which is a bit of slow, but besides getting a hex on the Tinky, you're not going to have a stun. So Shaman or Lion, both good, but do you want nuke or do you want push? Is sort of always the thing I look at. But Shaman, you get a bit of half. You know, you can shove the lanes with your Ether Shock. You can push the towers with your wards, the Shadow Word. The snakes, spitties, and then you get sort of you get a lower cooldown, less damage nuke in the Ether Shock. So yeah, but the Weaver core is looking nice now. I want this to go.
Let's see where they go.
Unique, please,
Come on.
Unique.
Unique's probably telling the team, I've lost many times to Unique Weaver in the past, so I wouldn't be too mad. Let's see, GSC, 5 seconds left on the reserve time. They need a hero to go mid, otherwise they're putting Doom in that role, but I doubt it. So it's going to be Zeus. Alright, so this is a gamble that they're taking, right? They are really gambling that this Weaver is not playing safe lane, because they're like, okay, if this Weaver is indeed support, they have like virtually no reach on the side of BRG. They're already banned now. Spectre, Drow's gone. They took out Puck and Storm Spirit themselves on the other side for BRG, even if they wanted to do something funky in that regard. Very difficult to reach the Zeus unless this Weaver is indeed playing the safe lane route. If he's not, then there's not that many safe laners left in the game, right, that can actually get and close down on top of Zeus, unless you're picking like, I don't know, some Ember in the safe lane, or if you're picking Sven, rushing, Ags, Blink kind of thing.
Here's the thing I look at that, when you're picking, if you're going to pick an Ember or Sven, or even like a TB now, is what do you do when you have Aegis? Because none of them are really nice Aegis carriers. Sven doesn't want to have it because you can't pop his ult and fight. TB can take it, but then he doesn't have meta for the first pushing phase, and he can just sort of get bursted out quite quickly. So go the Weaver. And we're stuck at a broken record here, but they put themselves in a good position here at the start, taking that flex pick, and it's paid off. Just take it. It's free.
Yep. But we need some stun now. We need some lockdown, I think, is the biggest worry I have for this team. So
what's your bet? Pull an Etienne. Come on. Pull another hero.
Lion Danquilo. Lion or Danquilo. One of the two.
Lion. Okay.
Yeah. I like Danquilo in this situation. What about
Shaman or Shaman or hear me out. Warlock. Okay, I'm listening. So you get the shard. You heal everyone as they're going. So the Weaver is going to be able to live for a lot longer. You have that ulti, which is that big stun that's going to go through everything. Why not?
I thought you were gonna go. I thought you were gonna go with this. That if you go max upheaval with Undying Tombstone.
Oh god, I didn't even think of that. That's brilliant, Snare. What have you done? Why didn't you say this sooner? Come on. Also consider this: if you link everyone, and the Tinker starts firing with the rockets and the laser with the axe, that's a lot of shared damage. And the Doom and the Ursa are going to be close together. they're
The
not
scary
going to be
part
wanting
with
to
the
fight
link
on the opposite side. So.
would also be double decay with multiple heroes. Oh, dude, remember I said earlier that the only heroes they can go for, it's either Sven, Void, or... Yeah, it had to be this. I'm not happy about this personally because I'm not... Now you just Doom Void every fight, right? You just Doom Void. You just Doom Void, you kill him. And you can actually kill him. It's not like... Sometimes when you feel like to reach the Weaver, to get to him, to kill him, can sometimes feel like a sunken cost fallacy. In this game, it's not beyond the scope of possibility for GHC to get to the unique Void, kill him off a couple of times, make life difficult. Without him having the Chronosphere, they don't have Lockdown. This is... It's not the easiest lane in the world either against the Doom. There was going to be what? Doom Rubik, not really that enjoyable to play into if you're playing Faceless Void. A lot of damage mitigation, a lot of damage reduction. Despite BRG being the team that's somewhat favored, if not for the Tinker, I will admit, I really like the Tinker though. I feel like they don't really have any
It's a
tools
66
to deal with
Tinker as well.
It is
didn't see too much of it last time, but that was against Energy, so we'll give them a pass there. But it is a 66 Tinker. It's like discounting an Anastam's Shadow Fiend. You can't let him out the door.
If not for the Tinker, I would say GHC, if I'm honest. But
same
there is this Tinker. There is this Tinker, you know.
So are we calling are we sitting on the fence here? And then
we're going to be barbed wire. This is the barbed wire class. We're smack bang in the middle of the fence. We're going nowhere.
We'll have a wedgie tomorrow morning. Anyway, into game 1 we go. This is going to be Gamers Changed versus Black Rabbit Gaming. Game number 1. If you have joined us through Dota TV, be sure to head over to any of the stream platforms, that's either YouTube or Twitch, but join us on Twitch because we'll have a bit of free stuff later on. Sorry, I stole your stuff there, but I just got in the mood. Wanted to keep going.
No, we're all good. We're all good, you know.
So small.
Besides, for reasons we can't express necessarily right now, you know, take the opportunities while you can. Be out here.
No, that's true.
But we are here. It's game 1, so... The one thing that they do have in their advantage on the side of GHC, despite the fact that they're dealing with a Tinker on the other side for 626, they honestly, besides the Tinker, right, their routes of initiation in the team fights just feel so straightforward for them. And until they get these items from Black Rabbit Gaming, where is the damage here, YNRC? Like, what's happening, YNRC? Where's the damage? Who hurts? Like, it's only Tinker, right?
Yep.
Like,
just Tinker. You're going to have to just burst everyone up, sort of hold them down with the Undying. But again, they're lacking that hold down now. You have the Chrono, but then you have to wait, what, is it 2 minutes, 3 minutes, I forget? You have to
like
2.5 minutes to get a kill
to
on a core hero.
Yeah.
That's not good. That's not stonks. Anti-stonks. Not Tesla.
Stonks going down.
Well,
not Tesla,
Negative
more like
stonks.
Elon's reputation, huh?
Yeah. Well, let's leave it at that. 6 billion what? Anyway, 66 here, starting in the mid lane. It's got that ward there. You also have the other observer from GHC in the mid lane, and Black Rabbit went and did that cheeky little deep ward there from, I believe it was Jabba that placed that on the Weaver. So being a sneaky little bug.
For me, the really interesting one
Sneaky
is the one that
bugger.
they placed in the top lane. Lol. Check this one that they've got here,
funny.
right in front of this tower. They're anticipating that they're going to have the more powerful lane, and they know that Unique is not really going to have an easy time up against these two heroes. He's going to require a lot of assistance from Guy next door on this Undying. Undying, though, as we saw in the TI Grand Finals, can actually win lanes like this all by his lonesome. The only question is he going to be given the space to? How much commitment is he going to spend trying to zone back these heroes? Especially because, you know, this hero was completely untouched in the patch itself, so still retains a lot of his lane dominating prowess. And provided he stays here long enough, he should be able to allow Unique to actually farm. But the counterpoint to that is that anytime he leaves the lane, life becomes a little bit more complicated for this Faceless Void.
Yeah, guy next door showing up to lane with a bunch of smoothies. 6 mangoes, so he's going to be A-okay on the mana side of things. Ooh, Jabba getting onto some fancy footwork to start. Gets Dandelion's courier down in the bot lane, middle lane. Both of them looking about half HP at the moment. Mr. Jones, 6-6. Stubbing each other's toes at the moment. It's painful, but you'll live.
Be fine. This is one of those lanes where as Zeus, all you want to be doing is, you know for a fact that until like level 9, this lane is like whatever. Just a bother for you at best, but you should be able to get all the farm that you really want to. Never really in real threat from... Unless you like massively outplay this lane, like you should be okay. So the question does become though, It is neither of these heroes rotate particularly well, but it is a little bit easier for the Zeus.
Why is the lane here?
Okay.
The entire lane is on top of Slevin. Guy next door's running after him, but he's a slow zombie
Challenging
at
for
this
this camp,
stage.
dude.
Yeah.
Okay, alright,
They,
guys.
they both pulled the opposite side back down to this, so now they're just going to have it in the river. Courier is going to be the casualty of this odd bit of geography.
Oh my god. Look at this. The real winner of this lane is going to be Unique. If he kills this range creep, if he can kill the range. Okay, he won't actually. It's fine. Everything's fine. They have actually the wave pushing back into themselves right now. And with an Undying here, who's happy to try and tank up the creep wave before it heads into the tier 1 tower, you should, for the most part, not worry about having to farm underneath the T1. So, gonna be good times. I think Black Rabbit Gaming are very happy about this. The double wave coming in now. Wishfully is dragging the other wave away, but it's all good times.
More mangoes. He just
How
ate
many
one.
mangoes? What?
He just ate one.
Relax.
And he has
Relax.
another. I bet it was
I'm from
Courier.
Limpopo and I don't like mangoes this much. Calm down.
Bot lane, we're all going to have Spook be run on here, but it's by the Ursa is going to be very low. I'm going to drop
Nice.
Dandelion instead. Is Spook going to be able to get out of here?
No, he's dead. Bylak is dead. Bylak is dead.
Is he? Ooh.
Nice.
Okay, Spook's going to go down. But Bylaka is going to TP back
Oh,
to base.
nice.
Grab a nice Akuchi for that extra bit of damage. He'll make it out as well. But no self. Actually, does have a self. That's
Yeah.
not good. Top lane
As to
though.
the
Oh, here we go. Guy next door. The Mango's going to save you here. Aren't going to be doing too much. Although Void jumps in, he's going to do a lot of damage onto Slevin. He was actually stuck in place because of that creep.
Did you see how much strict this Undying
Yeah.
had?
He's got 1,000 health. 16
Okay.
strength stolen already. More mangoes. I don't want to see him buy anything else in this game except mangoes. That should be a challenge, honestly.
I think we need to ask production how many mangoes has been bought in a single game by the 5-minute mark. I'd be very surprised if at any point in time Guy Next Door has been surpassed with like 8 at this point or something.
Yeah.
But it's paid dividends, right? It's gotten them the kill onto this Doombringer, and more importantly, it took a lot of pressure away from Unique. And the influence of this Undying, look at the CS numbers. Undying, because of his impact in this lane, it's allowed this Faceless Void to double up the Faceless Void of the CS, of the Doombringer on Void of all heroes, and to do so without having lost his life and having gotten a kill onto the opposing offlaner. It's like the dream come true kind of start for him right now for Unique.
Yeah, Unique. Not always just going to be enjoy a free lane. Although this was just, like you said, Guy next door doing a good job. You love your good supports. Tip your good supports, guys. They're the real
Courier
games.
has been
Yeah.
killed.
Courier dying again. Okay. Wishfully. Proved your point. Doom is going to be running onto Unique here. Unique gets a 1 lucky bash. Time dilation to sort of slow him down. Does it have that DPS at the moment? But he's a Doom. So he's okay.
Yeah.
He's fine. Are there more mangoes? No, no more mangoes. I'm disappointed. Guy
Hey,
next
man,
door,
so-
what are you doing?
The mango season is over. Bottom lane?
Yep,
I
bot
thought-
lane. Spook Bylaka is going to be running onto him, but he's just going to be up. They have that ball slow. They're not going to be able to follow him too far. Level 2's there. They're a nice 20% slow. Stop the charge from the teddy bear.
They've done a magnificent job down in the bottom lane of ensuring that Spook gets all his farm. They're keeping Leica in always a pressurized position. Sure, there's enough sustain to keep him alive, but he never feels fully comfortable to stay in the lane, and they might actually kill the Seer right now.
Yeah,
but okay, she's gonna be
bugs.
okay.
Josh. Jabba though, I mean, we saw this, if I'm thinking back to the last Black Rabbit game as well, was against Energy, but it said it was Soup on the Weaver who was just being a complete nuisance. No, not the Courier!
Radiant
Oh,
courier has been
That's a
killed.
big kill.
Oof, that's face boots.
That's his wand. That's the chainmail. That is value.
Oof.
Oof, oof, oof. Oof, oof, oof.
Pain and suffering indeed here in the bottom lane, and Black Rabbit Gaming will definitely try to take advantage of this. In fact, one of the weird things about whenever you're playing these sort of Beastmaster lanes is you don't have to take advantage of good situations like this. You just have to keep doing what you're doing, and your opponent is less capable of stopping you. And he's already either trading even or slightly ahead from the Ursa, and with the Ursa having a less capable wand, while Spooked is about to pick up the Helm of the Dominator, it automatically makes the
Oh,
lane
Lekka.
better for
Okay,
him.
Lekka. Yep, there we go. The root from the
That's-
CM and just the easy kill with the overpower. Nice, but
Yeah.
you always got to have a value point in overpower, guys.
I think
this
he's gonna die here.
Although these boars, yeah, he's dead here. Is he dead here?
That's dead.
Oh, cut the tree.
He might die.
He didn't see him.
Oh, what a juke!
Oh, he didn't see him. Spooked. He missed out on the dandelion here. The freeze, the overpower is going to take him down. Meanwhile, top lane, guy next door, using more of those mangoes to get the kill onto the wishfully Rubik. This is a very good lane for Unique starting out here. This is going to be scary now.
Doom needs to leave this lane. He needs to be very careful here. If there's any mana available for the chrono, he just dies instantly. So he needs to be very circumspect about how much forward he gets, especially because he only has the magic stick right now. So I hope he just gets back, waits until the devour finishes, wait until the decay wears off, he'll be okay. But honestly, I just want to quickly go back down the bottom. That was such good play from the Crystal Maiden. Dandelion actually ends up saving the lane. If Ursa dies there, it's really bad. Or if he dies, it's also really bad. But not only being able to stay alive, but keeping himself, the Ursa alive, and getting the cross kill onto the Beastmaster. Make sure that the lane stays equivalent, stays even, and everything still stays positive for the team. So GHC not falling behind in this laning phase, despite having a very torrid time on top for this Doom. Elsewhere on the map, they're still able to make some progressive strides, which helps a lot, right? Because it's very difficult to win Dota 2 right now if you lose multiple lanes at a time.
Yeah. I will want to touch on that. They both did run back to base and TP back in, the Dandelion and Laka on the Ursa. Is it worth it, that kill, versus the contrary of losing your CM to the goal that you're going to miss out because you're not in the lane farming and the XP as well?
If they didn't get the kill onto the Beastmaster, it wouldn't have been worth it. But because they got both, right? They got Jabba first early on, and then they got the Beastmaster later. It ends up being worth it, despite missing out on some farm. You get the advantage early on.
Guy next door, he's going to use the heal to keep himself alive. Obviously, oh, there we go. The Chrono from Unique is going to be onto the Zeus. The bugs are going to come out from Jabba as well. Extra bit of damage. The armor reduction going to do a lot. The Zeus from 6... What? The Zeus? The laser from 6 to 6 is going to do the rest of the damage that Unique could not. And that's a nice triple kill.
Fantastic team fight for Black Rabbit Gaming. They use all their abilities in the top lane. The only thing they don't use is Primal Roar from Spook down bottom. And this is what you like to see from teams, right? Far too often we have the situation where you get the big levels on your ultimates and you don't necessarily use them on the map. You're waiting for the quote-unquote perfect situation, but you have to create the perfect situation. And they go top, they kill the heroes that, sure, it might not be them bringing down the Ursa, but them being able to bring down this Doombringer puts pressure on the top lane. It saves the Zeus, or it saves them from the Zeus. Zeus actually might die again in the mid lane. Okay,
he's getting very close here. Jabba showed up and just took him more than half HP away from him.
But it's required both to do this. Like, to keep him alive, but this is going to come at the cost of less pressure being applied onto the map itself. So Black Rabbit Gaming still get away with a lot, and that could only happen because they got those positive kills from top.
Oh, 6 to 6, there we go.
Nice.
A bit of rotation, wishfully getting the stun, but he was surely dead there as soon as that Arc Lightning came through. The Thunder Girl's Wrath to pick up the kill. Bottom lane though. Oh, Laka. Laka. Doesn't he Laka ni Buddhi? There we go. Dandelion gonna get rolled up now. Not the target you really want to go to, because Laka now showing up to the party has the overwhelm in a little bit. Still has the ulti, so can get his way out of here, but Spooked is gonna live for now. The bug is gonna hold Laka in place. Yep. Here's that kiting we talked about, Jabba.
But here comes
Tinker.
Tinker.
Tinker boy. 66 has got that Blink Dagger finish now, but is still level 8, so doesn't have the TP onto the creeps yet. But here we go. Laka is going to dive this. What's your bet?
No way, dude. No, he's going to pass it back. Pass it back.
I would have.
No way.
I would have. I would have.
Bro.
No joke.
Soaring bottle Blink Dagger. He's like, let's go. I'm diving with tier 1. Let's
all
do
you
it.
need is a Tinker, man. You don't need anything else.
Oh my god. Fortunately for us, 66 doesn't go in. He keeps a level head at the point.
Fortunately, I'm not playing for Black Rabbit. Oh gosh, 66 now, just going to be doing general Tinker things. How's this change? I know it's been a while since they made the change to Tinker, putting the Keen Convenience in place of the TP boots. What's the difference you sort of think between having the Marching the Machines versus the earlier TP? Or free TP, that's what they call it.
The main difference is that like now Tinkers, you have to do a little bit more investment to be as annoying as you used to be in the game. Like it's the heroes sort of scaled backwards into the game, Like it peaks a little bit later. You don't just get this like 20-minute period where it's like, all right.
Oh, bot lane. Spook. Blacker is going to be running into him. This combo we've seen all game long. The root into the overpower, and Spook is surely going to die. They did pop the tombstone there from guy next door, so they want to get onto Lucky. He's got a lot of slow going onto them. Wishfully shown up, but cannot help and aid in any way. 6-6 again. Showing up with the rockets and the lasers doing all the damage they need. Dandelion, oh, you're going to be in very big trouble now. One click, maybe the ball will do it. 6-6.
Vision.
Oh! The smoke dodge! What a bad champion! He's still dead though. Is he? Yeah, he's
dead. He's definitely dead. Oh. And to compound matters, they also ended up losing Slevin in the top lane. Because Unique knew that he was completely isolated and alone, there was no one to help him, they just killed him off. They might actually get a kill middle as well.
Yeah, mid lane, you are going to have 6-6 here. There's that damage, the Raw going onto the Zeus. Mr. Jones not going to get out here, and Spook gives the kill to 6-6.
Oof.
Now it's looking dangerous again.
Sheesh.
I mean, hey. We said from the start, GHC had the better looking draft, but you never discredit the 6-6 Tinker, and then on top of that guy next door, just able to give Unique that super lane. And he's reaping the rewards.
Definitely discredited how well Ganax was going to do in the top lane. 66 Tinker. You know, we knew that mid lane was going to end up being a wash, but now that he's on the map, it's having such a massive impact. And GHC, because of how badly things went for them in the top lane, Slevin is in no real position to utilize this Doom to actually help out the team. Yeah. And he's pretty much what we're going to be relying on was between himself and Mr. Jones. Mr. Jones gets the vision of the Tinker, Slevin jumps in and kills the Tinker. That's supposed to be the strategy pretty much throughout the entirety of the game, but they can't really pull that off, and they might end up just losing Slevin. Heads up.
Slevin, guy next door, you have that tombstone, is going to pop it out. No support coming from your teammates. Mr. Jones stuck on the tower, not the hero the best deal with the scary zombies. Is just going to be shoved out of this lane here. Wishfully, not much room to really help here. Spook is running around, doesn't have the Raw available just yet. Oh, damn. Oh, what the soul rip was that from Rubik? Wishfully, you're going to have to wish for something a little bit better here, as Jubba is going to be running onto you. The bug damage is going to be a lot from the bug himself. The root not going to help anything. 66. Oh, he killed him in base. He killed him in base. Nice. Zeus really does have global everything, even Arc Lightning, it seems.
Nice.
What the hell was that interaction?
Is
that sort of like Laguna Blade?
Yeah, so I think the tick of... So I think what actually killed him wasn't the full damage. Like what probably happened is that the static field brought him like down to 1%, and then the damage tick of Art Lightning hit him when he got home, like from the bounce, and that's how he died. Either way, great kill. If they don't get that Tinker kill, everything is actually really bad from the mid lane, but because they get the Tinker kill and they manage to defend the tier 1 tower, sure they have to drag over a lot of heroes to make this happen. They end up committing the Doom, the spell itself, they end up committing the Thunder God's Wrath, but they still have the Freezing Field from the Crystal Maiden, they still have the tier 1 tower up. And Black Rabbit Gaming, despite having a pretty substantial gold lead, don't have that much of a real estate lead on the map. All the tier 1 towers are still alive and decent states of health as well. So there is still going to be time for these heroes to be able to catch up. Obviously, Slevin has the easiest way and the easiest routes back into the game, already has the full Midas, but this Ursa won't stay poor forever. The Diffusal Blade isn't that far away, and all they need is like 1 or 2 really good pickoffs. You transition that into an early Roshan play, and then suddenly you're back in the game, and it feels like the early game didn't really happen in as disastrous a fashion as it actually did.
I can confirm, Snare, you have indeed played Dota.
Once or twice.
Once or twice. Big brain. Big brain here. But it's going to be a little bit of a, not a stale moment, but just sort of that pause, that breath of fresh air between both teams here. Only Jabba really on the enemy side of the map, and everyone's just farming up their next items. Unique, getting close to... Actually, he's finished off the Maelstrom. I don't think he has anything else coming just yet. He does not. So maybe gonna have to look for a kill here. Yep, they are smoking up. Gonna want to use the Chrono and the Raw to be able to find themselves a kill. You see Wishfully, but not their ideal target at the moment.
Yeah. Sadly, they were a little bit late with this move. They're going to miss out on being able to interrupt this take on the big stack.
Oh, so... Dandelion. Dandelion getting 3-shot there by the rest of them. Unique jumping forward, gets the 2-man Chrono. 66 is here to help. The lasers, the rockets, everything is going down. Down. Slevin also going to have a bit of mechanical damage herself. The Raw didn't have to come out in it. Actually, no, who did the Raw? No, Raw's still available. So come and fight me. Try and do it. Unique, Unique put down the the challenge they did Dandelion, who did buy back at the end of the day.
Oh, this is great. They're
This
gonna
is...
time lapse back on Weaver. Time lapse back on Weaver. No! Come on! Weaver! Weaver! Jabba! No! So if you time lapse back right now, after they took the tier 1, they could actually rush into Roche. I think they barely have enough damage to take it, but especially now they wish. Okay, come on, Weaver.
That
Okay, you're
was
taking
the
the tier
roll.
1 bottom. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. You're taking tier 1 bottom. It's okay. It's acceptable.
This is fine. It's working. You have all of GHC here in the mid lane,
Radiant's bottom
and
tower has fallen.
you have the defusal finished up from Lacquer here on the Ursa, so you're going to hold them down a bit more, so fixing sort of the lockdown that they needed. But Unique just going to be farming up. Actually going for the shard next for the reverse time bomb. Tasty, tasty.
Might lose Dandelion here.
Yeah,
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
very
Yeah,
liberal
he's
with
dead.
that tombstone. He's going to get 2 shots. Yep. Jobber though, you don't want to be caught out here. What?
The initial tick on Sakuchi coming in or out gives you invincibility frames. You can dodge things like that. It's very
Dire's
annoying.
middle tower has
That is
fallen.
very annoying. Jobber does it though. He doesn't mind.
Yeah, I mean, he's happy. He's like, cool.
Yeah,
let's-
he's
I don't
okay.
mind this thing, yeah.
I was a little confused there at that interaction, but how's Slevin do? He's got his Blink finish now, opting for the BKB next. Are we going to see these Blink Doom stun plays coming out soon?
Not just yet. Right now, he's still sitting with the Wild Wing Ripper Creep, so chilling with the Toughness Aura. I think they want to wait until they have the next item onto the Zeus.
Oh,
At the very least
Jones.
get ads, but Jones gonna die now.
Jones, yep. On ulti coming out from Undying. Jobber is in pursuit. The Buggy is going to have the Buggy on him. You're going to have the Doom onto the Bug. That's a 1-2. Hello, how do you do?
Okay.
Lacquer is going to kill off Guy next door as well. This is a lot, but here comes that slow, and here comes 626. Okay, Black Rabbit just taking it.
Nice.
They don't want this.
This is no small feat given how
Yeah.
well this Undying's been doing in this game. Look how much gold just accrued towards this Doombringer right now. 600 in the pocket right now, much closer towards getting the BKB. It might have seemed like a spurious use of the Doom, but applying that towards the Weaver, the super elusive hero, just killing him right off the bat, making sure that you isolate the Undying. Once both of these heroes are gone, neither of them can really help open up the space for the Tinker to play, so immediately into Roche, but I feel like this is a bit premature. I don't think they're ready for this just yet, without a core hero being down and a chrono available on BRG.
Yeah. Black Rabbit knows going the Hawk gave them all the vision they need. The Roar is going to
no.
make sure Lacquer does not have a game. Wishfully stands up 66, so not that volley of damage that's going to be coming out just yet. But again, now they can't take Roche. Their Ursa's gone.
And, you know, Weaver's up here. Well, already committed the bugs, though. Without the swarm bugs, it's kind of difficult for them to take Roche, but they're still going to try and make it happen. Spooked has the full Vlads. They have the level 4 on the inner beast aura, so they've got the attack speed to make this happen. And this is the worst case scenario because they still have the chrono available to fight and contest this Roche if they try to defend from GRC or GSC.
This is very bad here. Dandelion is going to be picked off very quickly. Slevin jumps into the pit well after the Aegis has expired. Wishfully tries to TP out. He can't. Meanwhile, 626 blows up the likes of the Doom. Mr. Jones forward gets chronoed at the end of the day. Jobber can't help, but he does not need it. Unique, a strong, independent faces forward. And Lacquer's alive, and he's just staring at his destroyed world.
That did not need to happen. In that situation as GHC,
Yeah.
you just leave, you give it up. You're like, well, we lost the fight. There's no point trying to get back into the pit
Ooh,
itself.
Lacquer here, okay. Gets the kill onto Guy next door, so maybe stepping up a bit too far. Dandelion is here in support. You're going to have the root coming out again. The ulti is going to be out, so no more Raw to slow you down. Get the kill onto Spooky God just yet. Jubber's running after the lasers, keeping him there as well. The slow from the boards mainly holding him in place.
Oh gosh.
Oh, yeah.
Have you ever seen
Oh,
Mad Max
no.
Fury Road?
Yes,
The
I
movie? You know that scene where Tom Hardy's like, that's bait.
Yep.
That's what Spook was in that situation. He saw, the thing is, the team was perfectly set up behind him. Right? Tinker was already ready in blink range with the defense matrix ready to go. He was actually in very little danger there, but GHC, they see him, they're like, yo man, there's this Beastmaster, he seems so far forward, let's jump on him, but there's just no way you're going to be able to get that kill, and you chase deeper and deeper, you end up losing your lives, and you go from a situation where, at the very least, it's a Pyrrhic victory to just a straight-up loss for this Ursa. Losing his life in exchange for this Undying, not worth it. And this comes after ending up losing the Roshan trade, and let's compare and contrast where he was, right? He's dying here towards his own triangle, playing up against BRG with the Tinker. Look where Faceless Void is. Faceless Void has been happily and calmly farming both dire jungles, The ancient camps are being stacked up for him so you can farm them later. Beastmaster is taking some of this side of the map as well. The tier 1s have all been pushed. And there's just very little concern for these core heroes. On the side of BRG, erstwhile GHC are sort of pursuing every little small kill we can get. Just try juice the map as much as we can, but doesn't seem to be helping. And it feels like, honestly, YNROC feels like we're past that point where Void can easily be dealt with by GHC, especially, like, you know that he's having such a good game. Remember earlier on when you were deciding towards the Agnum shot? He's like, why would I do that now? Let me just get S and Y. I'm out leveling them. They're never going to kill me within one salvo of spells anyway. I'm always going to be able to get off the time walk. And if they do me, great. Aghanim Scepter will be soon available from Jabba. Well, soon, relatively speaking. But once it is, it doesn't really matter if they do me anyway. I just got a time left back. So this game feels like it's just getting more and more difficult by the moment. This smoke gank that they've just got in for now needs to connect, and it needs to connect on a very important target.
They went top lane thinking they'd be there in their jungle, but meanwhile they were taking control of... Ooh, as you say, that 66 is in the mid lane. Not going to have much jump here. Dandelion, ooh, can get the root off. Can they find him? Yes, they can. 66 is going to fall here, but that's the cost of your tier 2 bottom and potentially your tier 3.
Yeah, they have to come back soon. This goes very quickly. Scooped with the Hum on the Overlord, the full Vlad, unique on the foreground. Yeah.
Wishfully has the Rion.
Wow. Okay.
Fade bolts galore. Does the reduced damage stack or not? I assume not.
I actually don't know.
Yeah.
Now that you ask, I actually don't know.
Ooh. Maybe we've got to see
because the thing is, right, it stacks with each jump, right? And it's so it should
I just want to see them get near high ground and he cliffs every single one of them. Lift up, re-arm, lift up, re-arm, lift up, re-arm.
No, all he needs is the shot, right? Which he's like buying it now. So once he gets the shot, you know, double lift. It'll be fine. It'll be okay. You just lift all your allies, your whole team, put them on their cliff. That's how it goes.
Oh no. Meme strats seem only the thing that's really saved GHC here. They have got that 7k deficit. They're not looking the best. Win probability, yeah, 7%. I've seen worse. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. That 7%, what that actually means is for them to win and for them to have the probability go back to their side, they have to start doing something within the 7% margin. And getting caught by the smoke gang from Black Rabbit is definitely not in that 7%.
Especially not on the Earth himself.
Broken, unique, chrono, it's everything, just everything. It's all gone. It's all gone. He's dead.
Yep.
Can they catch anything else?
Dandelion's
gonna have the bugs on him, maybe Jabba. Yeah, Jabba is gonna come here. The double bugs is gonna have the hit. The rewind though is gonna save him, but the roar coming out onto Mr. Jones, the creep of the ancient is gonna take him down as well. Yeah, not 7%.
Yeah, that felt like more like 0.7% in the way that one went fights. Honestly, one of the problems is that they have sort of gone past the point in the game where their heroes would really peak relative to the Black Rabbit gaming heroes. This team only gets stronger from this point onwards, right? They've got all their decent items, but look at some of these talents that are still coming up, right? From the side of Black Rabbit Gaming. We've got Void about to crack 20, Tinker not too far away from 20 and then 25. Absurd amounts of damage is coming out, more tankability than you can actually deal with. And to make matters worse, it's not like your heroes actually scale well into the late game. You fail to find your peak in the game, right? I mean, we're talking about a team that picked Ursa, but has not gotten a single Roshan in this game. Like, you just can't play the game, can't play the map at all with these kind of conditions, and it's sort of transferring in, it's cascading into every other aspect of how they want to play the map. They feel very shy and hesitant about moving out of the map. Right? They were and from then, understand how far they are, but use all these guys. Never knows that they can go in. It really does have the worst part in the sense of power, but they can go in, Blake, do a target. This Weaver actually does have the full item. Who do you actually kill? Like, it's actually not possible for them to bring down any of these targets reliably, especially given how many people need to be doomed. You need to be dooming the Tinker, dooming the Void, dooming the Beastmaster, and dooming the Weaver. Otherwise, one of those other heroes will 100% interrupt the fight, make it impossible for you to win it. Just it feeling like everything... I mean, they could probably win it for another 40 minutes if given absolute free farm, but provided Black Rabbit Gaming are prepared to keep up this pressure, feels like we're not that far away from a GG call here, YNROC, and we might actually have the game finished before 9 p.m.
From that sort of 10-minute mark, I always sort of saw the Jubber running around, and then the vision that the Beastmaster was able to give from the Hawks. Was that sort of the thing that sort of brought them back to, not brought them back, but put their mark on the map and say, okay, here we are, here we're fighting, we have the advantage. If you come here, you're dead. And that happened to be really good with was running into. The top is going to be caught up by have the doom onto him here. Surely did get him. Thing. There we go. Right. Okay, it's going to be killed mid lane. Dandelion is going to be sacrificed. Just going to try and pull the creeps back from the tower. Is going to go down nonetheless.
That's why I don't want to go the neutral multiples and commission. The reason why it's been such an easy game relative for backup gaming, it has a morning vision advantage. Job up, 104 to get easy vision from the Beast Hawk. You also have very easy vision in the team fights coming in from the Tombstone. Advantage. And it's sort of the difference, you know, when you're playing Dota and you realize just how much more vision the enemy team has than you just feel like you're playing a different game, right? It's half the map that you don't have available to you. And Black Rabbit Gaming have pretty much never taken any fights that they don't have the vision advantage. I mean, in fact, the only times I can think of on this map where they've been done dirty or have unfavorable plays happen is these situations where they've gotten these two smoke ganks onto the Tinker, and both of them share a commonality. It's in areas of the map where Tinker was playing away from the Weaver, away from the Beastmaster, away from the Undying. No easy access to that vision control, because when he plays around that vision, just feels like it's impossible to stop. I mean, Tinker's already this hero that you have to have overwhelming vision to deal with. So when he's the one that's playing with that advantage, map is just a free farm for 6-6 at this point, and he's making that space happen. And also to compound their misery, all the time they're spending trying to deal with 6-6, trying to hunt him down. Look where Dandelion and Slevin are, waiting in the trees to try and form a trap. All this time, give space to Unique, who's just like, okay, I'll just hit creeps, get stronger.
You're gonna have to jump forward. You get okay, that's quite weird. He blinked forward onto guy next door and stole. And he stole the decay.
Yeah, he's fine.
Not the worst thing, but that was weird. That's very weird. Anyway. What sort of Black Rabbit's objective here to finish out this game? Because they have that lead, like we've been saying. So what's they looking for? Their objective. Like this. Do they just go for it? They skip everything. They pull an OG.
Oh no.
Safe play.
They're gonna wait for the next Roche. They're gonna chill. Yeah. At this point, they also know that, like, given all the spells available, it's much harder for Game Exchange to fight into the Roshan pit than vice versa. So, you know, why force the situation? Although, as I say this, it does look like they are trying to reach for a play right now. I don't know if they know that the Roshan doesn't respawn. Okay, they are trying to go into the pit. And,
yeah,
10
okay, they found
seconds
6-6 down bottom here. Dandelion with the root. The Zeus has the Ag's going to go onto him, but 6-6 is just going to walk it away at the moment. They don't have much follow-up. Oh, the Zeus, the Thunder God's Wrath, is it going to be enough? He's going to limp out of there on, like, 10 HP.
Oh my gosh.
10 HP is there.
He's fine. Oh. He's fine.
He's fine. That's been sort of the slogan of our cast. Every single time, there's always someone that's fine.
Fine. Hashtag calculated.
Out there. GHC ain't fine. They're losing this Roche. This is going to be very bad. Who's the shard going on to? Is this going to go on Void now? Yep.
Void,
there we go.
Absolutely. Free shot.
Time walk.
Yep. That can't kill him now.
Roche, second Roche is most important in the game, hands down.
You actually can't kill him now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is looking very tough. Fallen likes the GHC. Fighting into the Aegis and, well, everything. What does GHC have here? What do they have to do to sort of take this fight? They got to get the Doom on the right target.
If they can somehow, okay, so they need to somehow Doom Weaver. Well, Refresher would help a lot, but they need to Doom Weaver, because if they don't Doom Weaver, the fight's lost no matter what. They need to try and find a way to somehow ignore Unique in the engagement and force him to, I don't know, if they can make him whiff a Chrono, that would be great. But The only other way, honestly, at this point is to save for buyback so that whoever gets jumped on first by the chrono can die inside it, but then buy back and try to continue the fight.
Oh, speaking of which, Unique. Woo! That was... Whoa, that had me nervous for a second.
Mr. Jones doesn't have buyback.
I don't want to have it with my voice.
Seven.
Well, there we go. Unique jumping in, but he's going to surely jump back out. Wishfully actually just pushed him away with the headband in case, and surely going to go down here. Stunned up for a little while. Zeus going to lane into him. It's a lot of damage, but you do have this heal. All for the Rubik kill, but he's fine. He's fine.
Worth it. They got Tink on the other side of the map, dude. Hashtag worth. Slevin actually showed up. Did it show his value to the team?
The bird stun coming out from the Beastmaster. Unique is going to be there. Doesn't actually get the blink cancel, but this extra range on the Time Walk is so good.
Oh, look at the steal though. Wishfully got Tombstone. That's pretty huge. That's going to help him defend the base. That's it back now.
Speaking of which, Slevin jumping in, has popped the Doom, but that was previously onto 66. Unique getting very close here, but has the Time Walk and the ulti from the Weaver as well. Is going to keep going forward. Slevin here doesn't have much in support. The Ursa is going to be running in a second. He gets the blink forward. The refusal onto Guy next door. Wants to take out the Undying at the start of like Unique on the backline, getting the Wishfully. Bit of taste of his own medicine. Steals Time Walk. Is going to be slowed up here by the zombies. Other side of the map, Mr. Jones been running down the Jabba, but Jabba's getting so low, and you actually do get killed from Bioleka. Unique here is going to go down. This is not good. This is not good. You have the Raw from Spooked here, but he's going to be all on their own. You get the Chrono onto Lackey here. Dandelion is going to be able to help. He has that ulti, but can't do anything. 6-6 showed up to the fight. Here comes the Rockets. Ooh, Dandelion. That's very ambitious, sir. Or Princess.
Well, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Ambition finished. Yep. Ambition finished. You know,
that was looking a little testy for a second for the likes of Black
most hilarious moment for me was Unique actually run out of mana. He had both Rubik and Zeus right in front of him, and he's like 50 mana short of costing Chrono. He was just like, damn. You know, if he had that Chrono,
if he had one of those mangoes from before.
You see, that's why you should follow the guy.
I told it. He actually had 3 mangoes, so he just didn't give him.
Dude, if he had popped the mango, that fight actually wouldn't have lost any heroes in that engagement, but the fact that he doesn't have the mana to make that happen sort of allows GHC a foot back into the game, because sure, they end up losing several key heroes in the fight, but the resource expenditure from Black Rabbit Gaming, in particular with some of the lives of their heroes, requires them to back off a bit. This is going to buy a little bit more time for the side of GHC. You know, the game's not over just yet. I mean, when the fight started, they were defending on their high ground, and now they are still playing with the tier 3 intact. It's at full HP. Not as many concerns about the game's about to end. They'll have some bites at the cherry. It's a very hard cherry to bite into at this point, but they're going to try for it here. And YNROC, look at this. Smoke gank. Very, very ambitious, but the last time they did this, Slevin and Bioleka were able to kill the Tinker. Let's see if Lightning can strike twice for them again.
They are going to be running in here. They had no vision going into this. Wishfully gets the Chrono onto 2. Dandelion gets another steal. They have with the K steal as well. Guy next door is going to be timeless back from Jabba. Unique is here. He's going to be running onto everyone. Mr. Jones not going to be able to help you. The will keep him alive for a bit longer. The Doom is going to be onto the Unique Faceless Void, but Laka can't really keep up with him. He's a speedy boy. Slevin, meanwhile, is going to be bashed up, killed from Jabba. The Raw is going to come out onto Laka at the end of the day. Ursa's falling so low, he's going to die regardless. Easiest money of Dynexor's life.
The attempt seems so good at first. Rubik jumps in, gets the beautiful Chronosphere onto 2 heroes. The Undying and the Beastmaster can do nothing. Undying about to die, but as we discussed earlier, if Jabba is not caught inside any of these spells, if he's allowed free reign, he will absolutely ruin any kind of initiation. He sets back the Undying, and sure, Undying ends up losing his life in that fight, but not after a long time, a lot of disruption, a lot of heals, Tombstone being dropped down. And that led to the kills onto the Doom and the Ursa. And from that point, Black Rabbit Gaming, you know, it's one of these situations where you can dangle your support for so long that it requires the enemy to use cores to kill him. You're so happy with that fight, no matter what happens afterwards. And here they are, back again on the high ground. They wanted to be here from the onset. And even if this is going to take a while, they will not be denied. They will get at one of these towers by hook or by crook. And there's no buyback on the Ursa either. So there's no way to defend both of these towers, let alone even a single one.
Oh, Unique jumps forward, gets the Chrono onto the Zeus, and he's going to die so quickly. I can't even finish the sentence. Dandelion also going to be rolled up and just taken down Slevin. Couldn't really do anything to help. Yeah. This is GG.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Under attack.
Yeah. What's Papa Valve say? 1%. Okay, they got a 1% chance. We got to keep casting.
Fallen.
Come on. There's always that chance that, you know, someone ends up with a free rapier or something.
Game has changed. Their chances of winning are the 1%, bro.
Radiant's
They
bottom
are the
tower
ones.
is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower is
Unique
fallen.
now is me heading onto the ranks, just taking things leisurely, not going to be rushing things, going tier 4s.
Radiant's bottom
Respecting
barracks
GHC, but also knowing that they have the strength and they can't really take the fight here. GHC
Yeah.
can't really.
Well, at this point, it feels like there is very few options remaining for GHC, especially because they will not have the Zeus
Oh,
still
my.
for an ongoing minute. They're playing 4v5 and against this Tinker who can just literally lay down artillery fire, make the approach impossible from this perspective.
He also has a 4-staff and a Hex, so what else do you want? There we have the Doom coming onto Spooked. He's going to be 4-staff out of the way and probably 4-staff again. But actually 66 when he's stunned up from Wishfully, he's going to be get out for a moment. Unique jumping in the meantime. The Tombstone's doing a lot of damage. You do have Slevin falling to the ground. Unique jumping forward, pops the BKB, takes out the quick kill on Dandelion. Meanwhile, Lekker runs back, is going to be running into the path of Unique. Still doesn't have that chrono available. Selvin jumps in, gets the 3-man stun. But that is it. GG. Well played, Black Rabbit Gaming. Taking game number 1. Yeah.
In emphatic fashion as well. I mean,
Yep.
Zeus isn't even respawned. That's how long he was on the grid for this entire time. And what a game. Black Rabbit Gaming. It feels like they just had the perfect lane matchups in particular, but they also had a very good understanding of what to do once the mid game started. And pretty much nothing that game has changed wanted to do on the map was achievable, right? No objective taken by them. Got no Roshan. Took them a very long time to secure tier 1 towers. Took them a very long time to find favorable fights for themselves. They never really got this Ursa online. And even the moments that sort of had glimmers of hope for them, it felt like those were less glimmers of hope for them and just moments where Black Rabbit Gaming was a little bit sloppy and not as clean as they should be. But man, what a good performance overall from Black Rabbit Gaming. And yeah, this was a very demoralizing loss because when you lose like this, right, it's not just about, oh, we lost the game, it was a difficult one, GG, go next, but it was a systemic and comprehensive loss that makes you question your entire strategy going forward. So what a victory from BRG. Very good confidence for them going forward.
No, going to be hopefully taking the second or third game. You never know if GHC can pull something through here, moving on to the low bracket. But in the meanwhile, the Black Rabbit came out with a win now. But who else is going to get a win tonight? Because there's going to be another winner besides either GHC or Black Rabbit, you know that winner could be you.
Yay.
There we go. Not you, sorry. Well, it could be you. You can go and enter. Yeah, everyone has a free chance here. If you're looking to win an EveTech Spaceman Mousepad, nice big desk pad, I believe it is. Great thing. All you got to do is come over to Twitch if you're on YouTube. If you are on Twitch, type in chat only once. Once.
Single time.
Sorry, once. If you do it more than once, it's out. Sorry. Soz. Goodbye. One time only. Type EGL1. That is EGLONE. No space. You can do caps, whatever you want. I encourage camel case, of course. So EGL1, put it in chat, and you'll stand a chance to win a nice EveTech Spaceman mousepad. So yeah, that is like for game number 1. We'll see you guys in game number 2. At least you'll see Snare for sure. I'm a TBD. But yeah, we'll see you guys in game number 2.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to game number 2 here in EGL Season 2 between the sides of Black Rabbit Gaming and Game Has Changed. This is Elimination Dota, the very scary portion of the tournament where teams have to decide their own destiny. Do you make that deep run all the way to the championship, or do you get eliminated early and have to go home with salt and tears in your eyes, hoping to try and make a comeback in the subsequent season? Of course, one of the teams here today has already had the very salty luck of being in this negative position, and they were able to claw themselves out, or they weren't able to claw themselves out rather last season, but looking a lot better this time around. So let's see if they can make this complete turnaround, this full run back. So to bring you that action, to bring you that story, it's going to be myself, Snare, and at least for now, my boy YNROC. What's good, fam?
I might just disappear into the ether at some time. My eyes, I should already be in the ether, but we'll see. I'm here for now, which is at least nice.
You know, you're like the boyfriend that's supposed to have ghosted us, but you're still around. So shout out to you.
What?
Oh,
Okay.
So the game has changed. They had a rough game, right?
Yeah,
that was not fun. That was not fun.
I want to see them pick themselves up here. I want to see them pull something out of the bag. I want to see them. I want to see confidence, honestly. I don't think we saw too much of that in the first game. We saw the Ursa getting the sort of the pickoffs on Guy Next Door when he was slightly ahead of it, but then got baited into other situations. But it felt like there was a bit of hesitance going forward. I want something active. I want something mobile. I want something not Zeus. But Zeus was fine. But not Zeus. I want something that can scare Black Rabbit. Maybe that's what we're gonna. It's Halloween. It's past. Just got to scare heroes. Yeah, boo heroes. Who's a boo hero, Snare?
Elder Titan. It's still a boo hero.
That's not right.
Elder Titan.
Yeah, boo.
It's very scary. Boo. Actually, not even boo scary. Just boo. Boo. We don't want to see this in the game. I mean, it's
actually,
not as bad.
For most heroes, it's a singular boo because they're just dead.
They're just dead immediately. You know.
They're just
at
dead.
the very least.
If you missed that game.
Oh my gosh, yo.
Don't.
Yo.
Go watch the highlights. Which game
Production.
was it? I forget. Which game? I was the one who edited it. Which game was it?
Yeah, it was Myrmidons versus Guns N' Roses, if I remember correctly. Yeah, it was, because Myrmidons were running that safe lane. Yeah, it was, definitely. Because Myrmidons were running safe lane Elder Titan. So that was the game. Production should be able to find that VOD, and please post it in chat so that the audience can see it immediately. Thank you very much. And in that game,
stay to watch this game first, though.
I mean, of course. But the reason you want to watch this game because this game's gonna be entertaining. You know how I know it's gonna be entertaining? Game Has Changed already went ahead. They banned the two principal heroes that were responsible for their loss, Undying and Elder Titan. And Tinker. And then they first pick Elder Titan. So
they heard us.
There we go. They know what's up. They're out here. They understand that, listen, sometimes when you're trying to go to business, just get out the briefcase. Make it happen for yourself.
No, we're going to see him slapping over the head. I always like an ET pick at the start. It's one of these heroes that amps the damage on your team no matter what. Because of that natural order, nice bit of team fight that you have, good bit of setup. Sort of like your Grim, like I told you in the first game. But then if they run it in this pos 1, briefcase is heavy, and you can't hold it. Can't hold that briefcase. You gotta let it go. And when you let it go, you die in 1 or 2 hits. Essentially, is the summary.
I'm not sure they're gonna take that risk though, given that they only have one more bite at the cherry. You know, 1 game left.
I told you at the start, they have nothing to lose. And how cool would it be? Come on.
It would be pretty cool. It would be pretty cool. But
Halbert said yesterday, it wouldn't be as cool if they did the stuff a certain way. You can pick the easy route, or you can pick.
That's also not very cool. Coolness is also not losing. You know,
that's true.
Pretty cool to stay in the
tournament. Had that last season, so
yeah,
they gotta stick to it. But you see, you gotta do stuff. It's just cool.
It's actually going to be, I hope in this game, that will be pretty cool, right? I've seen this before, but very rarely, where Snapfires eventually get the Aghanim Scepter, and you gobble up the spirit hero you're playing with, and you toss them forward. And that way, I've seen it was actually with Void Spirit before. That way you get to sort of save an Astral Step, and then you have like the double step deep in the fight, while still having free initiation, and having the free escape from Dissimulate, you know, it can be quite nice. I doubt we'll get there to that point. Given how the game went last time, I don't think they're going to prioritize that much farm on Snapfire, but You know, they have that option, but what I'm really worried about is, despite the fact that they have this ET Mirana, I don't think they have many ways to deal with so much magic damage from BRG. My goodness, between the Void Spirit, Snapfire already, just with the opening too.
No, it's going to be a tough one to go out there, but we'll see what they can pull off. I'm going to leave that bit alone over there. But again, these tiny bands. Okay, so you said all of this magic damage, but I want to catch on to something that I feel the Void Spirit brings out a lot in any team's draft, right? When you have this Void Spirit, this hero that is at the same time very mobile, has a good initiation potential, and can also escape very easily, you're much more free to do whatever you want. You're much more free to go for those smokes into a place you don't have vision. You're much more free to try and get a kill, and then if it doesn't work, you can get out easily and not commit too much. So I would have liked to see that from Games Changed. But Black Rabbit pulling it out shows, here's what we're going to do. Try and beat it. And I think this ET Mirana combo doesn't really have anything to sort of deal with the Void at the moment. But they are taking out the likes of the Puck, the Sven, and the Nighty Boy, Night Stalker, which are a good solution to that Void Spirit. So at least they're thinking on their feet. Black Rabbit, they want to go through this lower bracket, and I believe they could be facing off, Josh, if you could tell me who they're facing off next round.
White Rabbit Gaming, should they win? That's going to be an interesting one. Yeah, whoever wins this one takes on White Rabbit Gaming. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Battle of the Rabbits.
Yeah, the rabbit matchup is what awaits the winner of this. So Black Rabbit Gaming, of course, want to prove that being dyed in the wool is better than just remaining nice and pure. I'm going to see how it goes for them. One thing I'm interested in seeing, though, for Game Has Changed, whenever we see this Elder Titan, especially the support capacity, which it seems most likely to be right now, it's always paired with heroes like Sven, Puck, heroes that can just keep other heroes close together long enough for these spells to be able to land and flush. Kunkka can help in that regard as well. Both of these two heroes sort of complement one another, right? If you land a Torrent boat onto multiple heroes, or land an Echo Stomp onto multiple heroes, then it leads naturally into the other one spells coming off very flush. They can also get into fights. I've always liked Mirana with Kunkka being able to initiate using Moonlight Shadow. You drag a hero out of position with the X marks the spot, you get that assassination, and you get out from such a very far distance. So I feel like this could actually really work out for them. The only caveat, though, is that now this draft is very revealed, right? They already kind of know what the lanes might look like. They don't know what like the off laner and the safe laner are, but BRG should be able to get themselves some fairly decent lanes, and I think that's also why they're happy to go for this Abaddon. A Photic Shield is this is destructive for this draft right now. Any hero that's getting a Photic Shield after the spells, it really ruins your ability to be able to close in on them and bring them down conclusively.
Now the Sand King pickup again, going into this team fight. Oh, this is nice. I'm liking this. The Kunkka pick, like you said, Abaddon also being a bit of a solution to it. The Sand King, I love seeing Sand King. I just like Dota, but I love seeing Sand Kings. Because when you have that epicenter and that burrow that hits onto 3, and you can hear the crowd roaring in the distance that isn't there, it's good. I can sleep soundly, knowing that I might see a nice 4-man, maybe 5-man, if I'm lucky, burrow into epicenter, and then you have the Snapfire ult coming too. Oh, it'd be lovely.
I mean, there's a lot of one more combo potential on this one.
Yeah.
Like, and also, this is a disgusting lane. Snapfire, Sand King, jeez. I don't want to be the one that's playing into that lane myself. So, fortunately, though, they do get one of the best heroes in the game to be able to deal with that. Getting this Juggernaut for themselves right now, healing ward in the lane, but crucially, having the spin. Neither of these heroes, unless you get caught out, which you shouldn't be, you know, spin is instant cost, Sand King stun isn't, so you should really never actually get caught by either the stuns in this lane. It'll allow you to get away from most of their pressure. It does kind of mean right now that with the Mirana in the lane, there's not that much pressure you apply towards the Sand King, but at least this keeps them stable, doesn't allow BRG to completely run them out of that bottom lane or that top lane scenario. On bottom, how's it looking for them? We don't have an offlaner just yet from Game Has Changed, which consequently means that right now their only teamfight starter is the Kunkka, which you can do, but it's not my preferred route to being able to play this game. I would like to see somebody who can buy Blink Dagger. Black Rabbit Gaming definitely have that hero covered, the Sand King, but not just that. They have incredible reach also with this Void Spirit being in the team as well. So Game Has Changed need to be able to contest them in some regard here. We already saw in the previous game what happens when Black Rabbit Gaming can play either with the reach and vision advantage. They had both in game 1. at the very least, I would like to see Gamers Change challenge them on one of these fronts. They're challenging on the Vision game with the Elder Titan, so figure out how to challenge them on the Initiation game as well with their last pick. So right now, unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, we have had a situation where the great vendetta of the internet has befallen us. You know, it has struck down YNROC, but from the ashes shall rise a Wookiee. From these ashes, Wookiee XSL, the man who put this tournament together, is going to be taking up the responsibility of getting himself into the game.
I actually don't know who you're talking about because I'm just Earlobes George like 10 years from now. That's why the moustache and everything is the same. How's it, Snare? How you doing, bro?
I'm good. I am excited. I'm chilling. We're having a good time with SA Dota. And also, I'm very happy because we're not seeing Tiny, you know, in every game. So, you know, that makes me very happy.
Well, yeah, he was pretty much the most contested hero of TR, right? And then they still gave it out in the finals and it still didn't work. So I don't know what that says about Team Spirit, Tiny, or LGD, really. But in this game, our first run there for GHC, BRG just seemed to outpace them in the early game and just have their number. What are they going to do differently in this game, Snake?
That's what we're hoping to see at the end here. And right now, one of the things that I do like that they're doing a bit differently is this time around, they do have a lot better scaling for later portions of the game. There's not as many concerns about, you know, in the game one, it was, guys, if we're not ahead by 25 minutes or at least drawing even, the game's over almost automatically. There's nothing we can do to actually win from that position. At the very least now, they have some very good scaling into late game. With their draft, they have some much better team fight. They still are lacking on the initiation front, but if they can solve that little problem for themselves, especially now having to deal with this Weaver, then things can go quite a lot better for them. And one thing I love about what they've done with their draft is they're not as static in the laning phase, right? There's a bit more proactivity with their draft. It requires them to do things. You know, young George, before we had him take the aging serum, you know, was mentioning earlier on about how he wants to see them actually play forward, right? Play with some degree of initiative. So I think GHC is so far doing that, but still need to have this tie together, especially now that they're dealing with this last pick Weaver, which they have very little lockdown for here, Wookie.
Well, actually, I was about to say they've actually got kind of one nice combo that they can probably pull off from like level 3. Well, it would make Kunker like, he's probably going mid, right? So let's say he'll be level 5. Then hopefully he can do an X marks torrent into an arrow or an Elder Titan setup. It does give them something to play around in the early game. I like the axe as well because now they've got a sick initiator actually that can set up off of Elder. Kunker can do an X marks setup. Mirana can hit an arrow and there's an axe call. So there's actually quite a lot to like initiate and work off of, I think, on GHC. Comparatively, you're gonna have to wait for SK to get a blink dagger to really start the fight on BRG's end, or have like a big counter, or the cookie, I suppose, could Void's really their setup, right, on the other side. Like he's gonna be getting the Yules into the remnant. That's pretty much their setup right now, like their reliable setup at least.
Until they get that blink dagger, yeah, they certainly are just going to be relying on him. Spooked, that means that he has to have a lot more pressure on himself to have a good laning phase. And as you mentioned, this axe pick is actually perfect. One of the best heroes in the entire game of Dota 2 against Weaver. Like in the offlane, I actually think that with the sole exception of Doom, that there isn't a better offlaner against Weaver, given what this hero can do into that carry position. Disrupts the laning phase, doesn't make it as easy to play. If you're not getting like a lot of kills from Weaver, Axe just like continually jumping you down, cleaving you before you can time lapse back. And like you mentioned, because they have this sort of lack of team fight from the side of BRG until they get levels on Void Spirit and or items on the Sand King, it does make them a little bit more vulnerable to Gamers Change, playing with very high pace and high tempo. All they need is like several levels and Blink Dagger on Axe, and that's it. You're good to go. Every single fight can still happen for yourselves. And like you were mentioning as well, they have a lot of chain potential, right? If one of their spells land, that's all they need. One spell lands, whatever hero gets caught is 100% going to die. Like everything is going to bring you down from that point onwards. For Black Rabbit Gaming, there is a little bit more, you have to be a bit more attentive with your execution here, right? To be able to secure these kills reliably. Because you can miss some of these spells and then suddenly you don't have the ease of execution to bring down these targets anymore.
Yeah, no, there's definitely a little less forgiving on the end of BRG, but if they play like they did in the beginning of the last game and just have that massively dominant laning phase, then all of that kind of gets alleviated, right? As they hit like the 15 to 20-minute mark and those blink daggers and stuff all start coming online, then suddenly they've got something
30
to play
seconds
around.
to battle.
But I don't know. I think the early game should belong to GHC here. They really do have a lot better like heroes and pace and everything to deal with this situation.
See if they're going to be able to make that happen as we're getting close now to game number 2 getting underway. Remember, this is Elimination Dota. Whoever should lose here is done. It's over. And right now, the side of Black Rabbit Gaming, they have the 1-game advantage. Match points is theirs. Looking to send Game Has Changed home, but Game Has Changed do not want to be sent home without something to show, right? They at least want to get 1 game for themselves. Most teams that have been eliminated have at least clawed back a solitary game. I believe it's only Guns and Rose who have failed to do at least that, so Game Has Changed does not want to be part of that illustrious club. At least starting off the game with a 2-2 bounty rune trade, so we're not going to have one of those situations where you're already starting a bit tilted because you lost 4 runes, you're already arguing from the jump. Nice, slow, solid start, and like you mentioned, they have some very decent heroes for their laning phase. All that's required now here, Wookie, is that they play these lanes to the degree that they need to get that advantage going.
Yeah, for sure. I think the hot. Well, is this a pos 1 Weaver bot, or is it a pos 1? Is it pos 1 Weaver? Okay, that's
Yeah,
cool.
POS 1 Weaver, yeah.
I really like that actually for the team fight, especially off of the shard, because it just is ridiculous. You know that the reveal on that is quite a nice to have.
Dyer's top tower is under
It just
attack.
shuts down like one of the meta plays at the moment with the Silver's Edge, which has been picked up just a lot for its like reliability and damage and initiation, and it just shuts down like a lot of that play, which I do quite like. And this SK has also got a nice match up top, honestly, using the core stick to harass hard against the melee heroes is like a really nice little counter play as well for the laning phase.
It's a very good lane situation for them. Also, another thing that you were mentioning about top, with the Swarm Bugs can also reveal Moonlight Shadow, which takes away a key form of initiation. We actually might lose Slevin here. It's getting dove by Unique. This is not good. This is not good. They need Slevin's axe to be the key weapon against the Weaver, so losing him this early on, very bad sign. And top lane, they might end up losing Dandelion as well. He recognizes the danger, pops the stick early on. Spook doesn't feel the appetite to dive forward, but they've already gotten the big victory down bottom. Not just getting the first blood, but the first blood going the way of the carry Weaver. And this is one of those interesting matchups, right? Like, I used to play, Weaver's still my most played overall hero in the carry position. And this matchup goes one of 2 ways. Whoever gets off to a good start tends to dominate the other, and you have a very difficult game coming back from either position. If the game is even, Axe is always favored, but Axe starting from behind here, it's very easy for this Weaver to just run circles around you and the rest of the team. And being off to such a good start. Look how much CS he has here relative to this Axe. Axe has 3 CS versus the 14 of this Weaver.
And he just comes forward to the creep wave and loses half his HP as well. He just doesn't have the armor to deal with this Weaver. Even though it's only got, what, 3 iron branches and a set of slippers, it's still like, look at that damage. It's just disgusting. Axe is having a really bad day right now. There's no question about that.
Abaddon also doing his job, got the early point into the aquatic shield to make sure that Unique would not suffer any kind of consequences for this more aggressive posturing. And it's not like they're recovering this advantage elsewhere on the map either, because in the top lane, like you were mentioning earlier, they're getting muscled back. They almost lost Spook, but they recovered and rallied really well. And to make matters worse, it's not like this mid lane is a winning one, right? This is the epitome of just an even matchup. There's nothing either of these heroes can do pre-level 6 to truly threaten each other. So you have one drawn lane, one very good lane down bottom where we see Unique. Look, I mean, look at how aggressively he's prepared to play right now. Just like, meh, got battle hunger on him, just take it off easily. He knows that he has this particular advantage in the levels. He doesn't have to worry about getting outpaced. Baron can even sort of leave him alone very far forward in the lane with no real threat towards his Weaver. Great way to start the game. And with all 3 lanes going well, Wookie, it tends to lead into positive results for the team that has that kind of beginning.
Yeah, definitely. Look, they are getting a little bit worse of a trade top. Jug's still 4th or 5th
Bottom
now
lane?
on the CS, which is not ideal.
We might lose our Axe. He's getting dove. Yep, he dies. Oh, to make matters worse, that sucks. Wishfully try to throw out the arrow to protect his axe, but instead, the axe ends up dying anyway, thanks to the aphotic shield from Jabba being popped on the arrow. So he defends Unique from being arrowed up. The pop kills the axe. They almost kill the Marana as well, forcing him back in a very awkward position. Doesn't have the full Urn of Shadows just yet, so Axe is going to have to expend some money on some regen or just hand over a Tango. Either way, further resource expenditure down bottom. Black Rabbit Gaming still having a phenomenal time on this Weaver, and we still have pretty much 0 CS on this Axe. This is shocking. Like, it's been such a long time since I've seen an Axe this poor at the 5-minute mark here.
7 creep kills in 5 minutes. That is not going to be ideal for your pos 3 axe for sure. You need him to get that blink dagger so that he can get that mid game impact, and he's just not going to be able to do that now. The only real lane that they are ahead somewhat in is mid, which is kind of expected. Conker's, it's very easy for him to secure farm here. Like we said, it's a bit of a stalemate, and because he's got, well, cleave, it always helps. You can get the range creep quite easily, and he can also secure the side camps quite easily, which is exactly what he's going to do now.
Oh, and now one thing that's going to be a big, huge deal is who rotates off this mid lane first. 626 definitely has the easier time doing so, but Kunka certainly no slouch in that department either. Down bottom, though, we might lose Jobber. Aphotic Shield. Oh no, Slevin, not like this. Not like this. He's getting ran down. One more right click should do the trick. Unique takes him out, and they might go for the double kill here. Wishfully tries to leap away, attempting the TP out. Will he succeed? Yes. Jobber doesn't eat the tree in time, so Unique cannot find the vision. But that is the 3rd death for this axe, and this axe is the only reason. I guarantee you here, Wookie. I guarantee you. When they were having the discussion about picking that axe last pick, it was off the strength of the fact that Unique had this Weaver already available for themselves. So they were like, okay, what's good against carry Weaver? Off-lane Axe, one of the best things in the game. No! Axe is not having a game at all. Like, at all. Like, he's 2 levels or 3 levels now behind this Weaver. Top lane, they just lost his Elder Titan as well, so Spooked is getting very far ahead. They'll have their initiation going soon. And there's just nothing that Slevin can really do here. And Unique is just having the time of his life. 626 also goes in right now. Try to at least stop them from picking up Jobber, but doesn't really care, provided he ends up surviving this. Slevin trying to make sure he doesn't. They get off the full combo of spell. They even drop the boat for this. Will he get out of this? No, he will not. That is a lot of commitment, but it had to happen. They at least get the kill from this one.
Yeah, and I think you're okay with that if you GHC. The boat's only a 75-second cooldown. It's not too bad, and that's the very combo they need to keep pulling off. That needs to be the start. They need to keep doing it. The moment that boats are cooldown, they need to be getting another kill like that. Pretty much every time boats are cooldown, they should be doing a little group up. Probably right, like once Marana hits 4-5, probably just Marana should be fine. It feels bad to have to rotate in the axe, but like you say, that's the best he's gotten out of the situation so far.
The sucky thing is that because he's so on the level, Spooked, is he gonna die here? Nope, not just yet. Power Strike keeps him alive with the Fire Snap cookie onto Dandelion. Not allowing him to get brought down just yet, but gets a bit greedy. Sticks around in the Sandstorm, gets dusted up, and will pay the price with his life. Will Guy Next Door do the same? Turns around to the Scatter Blast, zoning back by a Lacquer. And the Echo Stomp though. This might put paid to the Snapfire's life. Will he end up losing it? A couple more right clicks is all they need, and they indeed do find him. Spire Lacquer ends up picking up another one. So their fortunes do change somewhat in the top lane. This GHC find 2, picking up Spooked. Greedy situation, but this is the kind of small increments that can get you back into the difficult game here, Wookie.
It's just looking so grim. Axe is on 11 creep kills at 8 minutes. Things are just not getting better for him. I mean, his net worth is like 4th lowest. He's on 1.7 at 8 minutes. It's just pales in comparison to the 4,200 in Weaver. Weaver's got an Axe basically in 8 minutes, ne?
I'm mostly worried about the fact that he's so far behind the Sand King as well. Sand King Blink is gonna come not too long from now. Erstwhile Axe is going to spend quite a bit of time before he's ready to really participate in this game. Speaking of Sand King, he might get a boost towards his Blink ambitions by killing Dandelion. Dandelion did do a pretty sick juke, and now they might turn around and kill Guy Next Door. Arrow also connected onto him. Here's going to come the spin from the Juggernaut. The Epicenter does get triggered by Spook. This will grant him the kill onto Wishfully, but it might cost his own life in the process. Is there escape here for the Sand King? Oh no, it's Fire Lacquer. He stopped chasing. Why? He has the Omni Slash though. Does manage to get it off. Will secure the double kill for himself. So things do
Bot
end
lane.
up going really well for them, man. Bottom though, this is the trouble lane. Slevin, is he gonna lose his life again? He will. There's no revenge either. Try to stall them long enough for the Echo Stomp, but unfortunately, he's just too underleveled. He's not tanky enough to survive the damage from this Weaver. Already the full Falcon Blade building into this Dragon Lance with a completed set of power treads. Way too much early damage from him. Oh, middle. Spooked. Burrow Strike onto Mr. Jones, but no! 626 missed the Aether Remnant. Mr. Jones ends up walking away scot-free here in the mid lane. But a lot of action across the map here, Wookie. In the grand scheme of things, although Black Rabbit Gaming do come out on top, we still do get a very good sequence of events in the top lane for Ispire Laka, immediately catapulting him back into relevancy in the game.
And Uncle Gaiman doesn't think JHC's chances are so grim. Even though there's a 20% now gold difference, it's like 54-46. It's still very even. I think it's probably based off the fact of like, there is some really good scaling, right? The suitcase becomes rough late game. The percentage like reductions that it provides and the ultimate are just always good in most situations. And if you've got a jug ulting on top of that, things can start to disintegrate pretty quickly. So I think they've still got really good team fight, right? You got to count them in for that. But at this current pace, I think it's so difficult to say what they actually can do here. If I just think about it, like without an axe blink, they're just not grouping and taking towers effectively. The mid lane, they're gonna go for a setup here. It's not gonna work because the skills of the Void Spirit just means that he can get in and out just like that.
You know, there's so many mechanics in Dota where on paper you're just like, why is this allowed? This is just so stupid. This is so silly. Like, come on, what the hell? You know, a hero that can just make himself ethereal, come back anywhere, no matter what, dodge all spells. Okay, that seems fair and balanced. Speaking of fair and balanced, Jobber doesn't have the level 6. Even if he did, he's playing right next to Slevin, so Culling Blade would have killed him anyway. But that's a very good pickup for them to be able to pick up. Not just the kill itself, but the fact that it's Slevin that's getting it. Any and all chips put into the basket for this axe will really help them in this game. Although on top, they might find Dandelion. They scan him out behind the tower. Reinforcements are en route though. Will they decide to make this full dive? Spooked. And pops the Burrow Strike to interrupt the Echo Stomp. But nonetheless, they find him. They got him in with the Torrent. Bones will be there as well. But here come the Morty's Kisses. Quite a bit of damage being dealt out. Spooked. 2 seconds until he has Burrow Strike again. They don't have a dust here. And they get him into the trees with the Fire Snap Cookie. He's still alive. Jobber shows up, gives him a Aphotic Shield. He is still living. ET Splitter gets thrown into the trees. Will pop the Aphotic Shield. Spook now trying to trigger Epicenter. Gets it off. It's going right now. Mr. Jones right next to him. Burrow Strike will be there. They end up getting the kill onto the Sabaton and the Sand King. But they do lose the Conquer for it. However, Ispire Laka picks up yet another double kill off this. Unique trying to get involved. He's looking for Laka. Laka, will he lose his life? Yes, he will. Nothing he can do against this Weaver. Way too much. Oh, wait, no, he's still alive. Unique doesn't want to dive. The pop of the magic wand at the very last second ends up keeping the Juggernaut up. And that could have been a disaster, but it ends up going really well. 3 for 1. Also drawing the attention of this Weaver towards top. Things are not looking so grim for the side of GHC, despite the fact that they might end up losing the... Oh, they're definitely going to lose it. Let's see if it gets denied, though.
Nah, that's just top tower that's going to go down. GSU, I think they'll take that though. Like you say, it's a nice little clawback for them. They're ahead technically on kills, but they just need to secure more position on this map. It'd be nice if they could take tier 1 bot and just kind of open up that map, you know, split down the middle like that, just so that there is some space for their carries to farm and you know, Jug can then hit the triangle and maybe the 3 camps below that on the bottom right hand side of the map. And it looks like they're actually going to signal to do that. They kind of want to do that split, do GHC, and I think it's going to be good for them. If they can get this to the later areas of the game, it just favors them, right? Like, I think right now pressure's on Black Rabbit Gaming. They've got a lead, but they need to convert it into more. They need to shut down the map, shut down the farm, make sure Jug can't get farmed, and by killing Elder Titan over here, this could be a good way to start that. It looks like Dandelion is going to get taken down pretty quickly. But there is an X marks that comes up. Kanka now sets up for the full torrent, but it's just not going to do a lot of damage. There's a counter initiate the cookies. Oh no, the Mortimer's Kisses is coming in and it's going to do a huge amount of damage. That's going to get one pick off. Mirana is going to be able to leap away, but still 3 go down for the price of none. BRG, look, getting that advantage they actually needed as I'm speaking about it.
They should not have gone for that fight. Like, just leaving the Elder Titan to die there. I mean, it feels bad, but it is what it is, right? Instead, you go to try and save him, and you end up conceding away the life of the carry and your mid laner. The 2 heroes that not only give you insurance for the late game, but open up this mid game portion for you. Especially because this Axe is still not really in position to help you at this stage of the game, quite far away from his own Blink Dagger, unlike Spooked on a Sand King. And they're also going to end up conceding the tier 1 off of this as well. This was very painful series of events. At least they get the deny. Oh, cool. Kevin, Levin, looking for this kill. Would he be able to find it? 626, still alive. They dive onto Wishfully. Wishfully is gone. And there is going to be Yule Scepter. Pitfall will not save you, Axe. There is going to be a spin down though, forcing 626 to Astral step away. Mr. Jones, X marks back onto 626, but he just loses his life. Unique does too much damage right now. Look at him go. A double kill picked up in this engagement. The Maelstrom, Dragon Lance, Falcon Blade with full power trades just does way too much damage. And there might be a triple kill. Indeed it will be. Unique seals the deal, finishes off the team fight. They got the tier 1 and they get some additional goodies in the process. And Wookie with an 8k gold lead pre-20 minutes. Feels like Black Rabbit Gaming are running away with this series at this point.
They get advantage and then they get it in duplicates, and it looks like Dandelion's also going to be going down. There's just so much minus armor here. The little Shredder and the Weaver is just uncalled for, man. The way that it melted that Kunkka, and he's had the best game on their team. He's got the highest net worth, and he was just melted in seconds. That's not what you want to see as GHC.
Oof, much pain and suffering. To make matters worse right now, the guy next door, Snapfire, is sitting with the Blightstone. And we're seeing almost level 15 picked up for Unique. Oh no, Slevin, Fire Snap Cookie stuns him out. They might not want to go to the low ground though. Unique is risking this a little bit because he knows Slevin's Berserker's Call is down, but also understands that there's no real kill threat. And this is good enough, right? Keeping them out of being able to farm their own triangle. Make them have to pay for every piece of movement. Oh, Burrow Strike misses onto Dandelion. Might still end up losing his life though. Tier 2 tower will at least get rid of the bugs, but there's gonna come Morty's Kisses. Slevin, does he kill Unique? Oh, almost had him, but at the last second, the time lapse keeps the Weaver alive. Axe was just a little bit too hasty with the Cutting Blade. Had he waited 1 second extra, or maybe gotten 1 extra spin, Wookie would be staring at a dead bug, but unfortunately, it does not happen. And as I often say, Dota 2 is a game of margins, and this time the margin is not favorable for Slevin.
That was so close. I think Weaver had like 15 HP, like you said, 1 more attack, and that would have been a dead Weaver right there. But unfortunately, and well, fortunately for him, and unfortunately for Axe, he does pull it out. And they just now this is getting a bit much. This lead, there is another. I don't know about committing the epi for that, but actually they might need it. He's quite tough. Without the Weaver damage there, wasn't able to do much. Arrow is going to slow it down, but this is looking just rough right now. 9k lead. They've gotten 10 kills in a row now without reply. It looks like it's going to be an 11th. This combo is just rough with a little Shredder. It's just doing so much damage.
To make matters worse, all the counter movements, one of the reasons why I love this Abaddon pick into Mirana, every single time Mirana's in the game and she has to play into, one of the reasons she fell off in such large measure was because of the presence of these dispelling heroes. And we're seeing that influence here, that unless Jabba's hit by the arrow, sort of similar to game number 1, right, where Jabba's influence in the fights is just, you're forced to focus on him, because if you don't, then your initiation just simply does not work. And somehow they're using that to position in all the key areas in the fight. They're taking everything, they're super far ahead, and like you mentioned, their damage output is just obscene. We might see it now in the top lane. They get the Burrow Strike out onto Biolaka, force him to just spin TP out back home, but he has to go back home, combo up with his team. That means that they're all playing in unison, less available farm for them. Black Rabbit Gaming just taking over the whole map, not leaving any space left over for the side of Game Has Changed.
That's exactly what they need to do. They're playing pretty much the perfect game around their draft right now. Everything's going their way. And they just... Axe, is he dead? No.
He's fine.
He's going to be fine.
Farm. He's Didn't know. Like, he still doesn't have Blink Dagger.
At 18 minutes, Snare. It's not good.
Imagine you're playing Axe, and not just any Axe. If this was just like a random Axe game, whatever. This is last pick Axe, right? Last overall pick in the game itself. 10th pick. You only pick a 10th pick hero that you are confident will do very, very well, but not being able to find anything. They're losing map control everywhere. Oh, Unique and the gang, they're just jumping onto Wishfully now. Easiest kill of their lifetimes, and they actually might get more. Axe in question. Pigpo, will he be able to get away from Unique right now? Unique, will he output the necessary damage? There's the Berserker's Core, armor given. Unique still has a time lapse, so he can definitely chase forward. Doesn't even need to use it. My goodness, the damage potential from this Weaver is just obscene at this point.
I mean, he wasn't doing very much damage through core armor, but once it wore off, like 2 shots did like 400 damage. I mean, that's your Axe. That's supposed to be taking it to the face. It's supposed to be getting hit in the head, and it just can't. Instant concussions now.
Listen, there's a reason why the NFL is having to pay out a lot in penalties. CTE is a serious issue. Unfortunately, this Axe is suffering it right now, you know. That's why he doesn't wear that helmet that he used to anymore. I had to change it up, get something a bit beefier to help him. Sadly, not coming and paying dividends in this game. They lost the tier 2 now. It is the first tier 2 they've lost, but it feels like this is just the beginning of the end. Suddenly we have an exposed Juggernaut. Trouble, ends up losing his life, got jumped by 6-6 as well as guy next door. And though they found a very nice arrow onto Unique on the other side of the map, it pales in comparison to the damage they can put out onto the Jug. And he's down and out, 40 seconds, no buyback. That means that all this time on the map is not being taken up well. And at the same time, they find the Kunkka. Mr. Jones gonna be Mr. Dead. Epicenter on him, 4-star forward, also reaches Wishfully. He needs to get the hell up out of here. Cocky place to be Marana, might end up paying for this, but fortunately he still does have the treble leaps. Kunkka didn't have that luxury. Down and out. They just can't seem to access their own triangle. Every single time they try, heroes just die.
Well, just as there's a lull in action, we've got to say a big congratulations to Jesse JZA. Congratulations on winning that Spaceman Mousepad. We will have more giveaways on the channel pretty much every broadcast actually, so do join us for those. But onwards back to the Dota. There's just it's such a long way back at a 12k gold deficit, right? I mean, what's the percentage now? It's a 36% net worth. So you got a third more gold, a third more items, and you have a really item dependent initiation stack on GHC. I mean, Kunkka can do it, but without something to help himself out like a BKB so he can get in there and tussle in the fight, he's a one-trick pony. And then, well, all of this is going to happen. Look at the CC, man. The disable's just out of control. He just stands there and dies.
You know, we were talking earlier in the draft about how for Black Rabbit Gaming, it's a little bit more difficult for them to 100 to 0 somebody, but when you're this far ahead and you're just able to get always your initiation off perfectly, for GHC, you know, the idea is there, but they've never been able to make it happen. And now, jump in middle, Firellacker in danger, Resonant Pulse, silence both him and Wishfully. Can they get this kill? Haste Rune keeping the Juggernaut alive right now. They try to slow him down at the bullwhip, but it's not going to be enough. He's able to get back to safety. Might not be as lucky on Wishfully though. Trying to TP away. Bugs will catch him. One more right click will be able to bring him down. A Unique won't allow the escape. And they get the Juggernaut. Firellacker trying to spin away right now, but I'm not so sure they'll allow this to happen. Unique is on him. They've taken out the healing ward. He's inside the base. Turns around with the GG slash. Will they try to trigger this off? They bounce it between the entire team. Resonant Pulse comes out and silences them. There's no escape. There's no more life. Juggernaut is gone. Axe came to interrupt this, but he's only going to be joining the Kunkka and the Juggernaut in the grave. Wait, no, he's still alive. He's getting back, but only for now. Unique will not be dissuaded. Unique will not allow Slevin to survive. It offends him to have a living Axe. Axe though is still alive. 4-star keeps him alive, and the stun came out onto Unique. Still does have the time lapse. No, he doesn't. He used it already. But they just don't have the damage to really threaten him just yet. They will pull back guy next door, so that's going to be a consolation kill for themselves. So it is something for now. But they still don't feel 100% safe at this because, oh, look at the jump in, 626. Resonant Pulse on the 2, Aether Remnant with the Astro Step through Mr. Jones. The Kunka's gone. Spook jumps in with the Epicenter, wishfully able to get away to safety. And they don't really want to dive up the hill versus Slevin. This might finally be the end of this engagement. End of the day, GHC end up paying the bigger prices. They somehow manage to keep the Axe alive, but it comes at the cost of the Kunka, cost of the Juggernaut. And all they get in exchange is a Snapfire here, Wookie.
That was quite a costly fight, and it looked like BRG might have actually been overextending their mana, HP, everything was low, and then yeah, silence of Resonant Pulse is the thing. So this Void Spirit, I think Mr. Thompson has ruined pubs and games for a little while off of this build, Snare.
Oh, top lane. I think we might have a dead Slevin. They're pinging him out right now. They know where he's at. Here comes the team. Snapfire quickly stuns him up. He gets off the Berserker's core, but little does he know that reinforcements are en route. My goodness. Although he is playing in a very dangerous part of the map with this tier 1 tower still being available, but also, given we were talking about this, right? They have item dependent mobility and initiation from GHC. They've already got those items and those levels for Black Rabbit Gaming, so for them closing the gap is super easy, especially with this Void Spirit, like we were mentioning, this build that's coming in from 626. I think not just in pubs in general, but here specifically in EGL Season 2, how many teams have we seen just tearing it up with this Void Spirit? It feels like the mid-hero of the tournament for me at this point. Whenever it emerges, the team seem to do really, really well with it.
Yeah, since TI, I just think that the Spirits in general have been on a tear, right? We've seen pretty much all of them go absolutely ham. But in specifically, this Void's been kind of disgusting. I think, you know, Team Spirit, how many did they even lose a game with the hero? Like, it's just so insane. The pick-off potential is just nuts. And Thompson's carry is pretty much what he's like my favorite mid. So watching that performance was like, my jaw was on the floor pretty much start to end, right? And all the things that he could do with this hero. It's just so good. And 66 is playing the hell out of the thing. He's missed a few remnants for sure, but he's also had a couple of really clutch setups so far. So yeah, it's rough. He silences everything. The Weaver walks in and picks you off. And if you thought you were getting away, there's an SK and a cookie as well. It's rough. It's rough right now. Without that blink call, he's got it now, but it might just be too little too late. We'll have to see what he does with the reveal of the item. If you can maybe hit a 2-man, they can get a pick off and secure some map presence and some objectives. Maybe they can come back into it, but it's a big maybe. There's a 3% maybe from Uncle Gaben as well.
3% is not very favorable odds right now for the side of Black Rabbit Gaming. The one bright spot that they may have is, doesn't seem like Black Rabbit Gaming fully want to fight just yet until they finish the Satanic on this Weaver. Of course, the downside for GHC is that once the Satanic is up, there is pretty much no chance for them left in this game. But at the very least, this might give them some degree of respite. But it also feels like there's no individual item that really changes their fortunes, right? We're not at the point in the game where it's like, you know what, I mean, let's say this axe, if this axe were a Doom, for example, then you could say, you know what, I started the game from a very poor behind position, but I'll always have Blink, Warstomp, Doom, right? And that'll never be easily countable. Not really that much of a problem here. This axe, like you mentioned, it is feeling like too little too late. Even if he does get a very good Blink call, odds are he dies before the full duration is even finished of the Berserker's call, or at the very least has to retreat immediately, and therefore can't really participate in the initiation. Also puts a lot of pressure on the rest of the team, right? The perfection of execution has to be there every single time. Wait, top. Mr. Jones? Mr. Jones, be careful. Jump in, Resonant Pulse on the 2. They will drop a torrent maybe to try and save this axe. Does seem like it'll be enough though. They don't want to chase forward on the high ground, so Axe will barely survive here.
Good discipline from BRG not to just chase into that as well. Has to be said, but I mean the amount of damage there, that's 2 heroes, Snake. Literally, that are not even using ultis, and that's the amount of damage that they're putting out. That's under scary, and it's like you say, Axe really needs a blade mail to be effective. They do reveal the Blink Dagger now, but the dash out is there for the Void Spirit. So that's Blink Dagger revealed as well. Now there's even less surprise and less to deal with from BRG's end. They're going to try initiate onto the SK maybe. Nah, they're going to decide against it. They're just trying to defend this high ground for this Weaver, but he's relentless. And here comes the SK. He's going to ulti in. He's going to kick things off, and that's going to be the Axe just getting absolutely destroyed. They're going to go for more. Kunkka in the back line. He's not long for this world either. The damage is just savage at this point. This looks a bit overs for GHC. BRG just coming and showing their strength in this tournament.
Goodness, just way too strong right now on the side of Black Rabbit Gaming. They easily clean up the bottom lane. They take the 2 kills on the cores with pretty much no contest. They still have their Aegis rookie. They didn't even really use all their ultimates for that. They used Morty's Kisses as well as Epicenter, but they still have the time lapse. They still have full access to both charges of the Astral Step for 626. And they're gonna be slowly but surely trying to take this. Slevin, can he find the jump? Can he find a way back? At the same time, look at Juggernaut is Aspire like he's too far forward. He gets saved by the Axe. He gets the catch on the 3. Will they get much more from this? Nope. As predicted, he dies in his own Berserker's Call. They are just too strong on the side of Black Rabbit Gaming. No buyback available for the Axe. Will they be able to at least take an additional building in this duration? Burrow Strike. Oh no, they found Kunka. Mr. Jones in trouble. Jump forward. 626 finds the Resonant Pulse. Bialeka threw in the ultimate, but the Omni Slash bounced off creeps. Wookie, the big damage is already gone. Feels bad.
His luck, as if it couldn't get worse, then he also gets unlucky like that. I was like, oh, this could actually get a kill. This could net them 1 up. And it bounces to the creep at the back. Things could not be going worse for poor GHC here. This is the death knocking on their door, and that death is like having a Sunday drive. They're just walking around abilities and carrying on.
Absolutely no way for them to defend this Rax, so they have to let it go. Aegis still in control of Unique for the next 15 seconds. As it begins to wane, they might decide now to back off, but look at this, right? How scary is this? So Unique did that entire push with Satanic, D-Lance, SNY, Maelstrom, right? The push is going to end, and as the Aegis expires, the next part of the push is going to be happening with the Chrysalis and a potential Daedalus from this Weaver. Our way, it gets much easier, right? Wishfully dies in front of the base. I'm not even sure why you are outside. My friend, you can't leave this house right now. This is a border. You know, you didn't have your papers. You can't pass this line. Here they come. Jump in. Oh my gosh. Oh no. Mr. Jones, if he dies here, the game ends. Slevin gets a very nice call onto Jobber, but it's only Jobber, Wookie. That doesn't really mean anything. This Axe is about to lose his life. Will he die here? Yes, he does. Very nice boats torrent, but unfortunately, Unique's Germinate attack catches him anyway. Spook goes in. Epicenter catches it onto the Elder Titan. Dandelion will die. Buys back instantly. He wants to assist Aspire Laka. Doesn't have the Omni Slash available though. Trying to bring down guy next door. Guardian Breeze keeps him alive. Burrow Strike with the Aether Remnant catches both Kunka and Juggernaut. They cannot kill the Snapfire. He's still alive right now. They turn around instead to bring down the Juggernaut, and they've drawn out the GG call. A dive back from Dandelion just as the cherry on top. In fact, Wishfully just jumps into the meat grinder. They've taken out the Marauder. They've taken out the T. They've eliminated GHC from the tournament. And with that GG Wookie, Black Rabbit Gaming, not only do they continue to make the run, they've booked themselves a date with the White Rabbit Gaming squad to see how deep they can get in the tournament.
It's literally, we're getting it. We're getting BRG versus WRG. It's a thing that's happening, which is
Finally.
great.
You know?
So we're going to find out which is the best Rabbit Gaming, basically, between the two. Will it be the old, well-established organization or the meme team? You'll have to come and watch some more EGL. But just looking at the stats for that last match, can I just say, Weaver with 670 GPM. That's a fair amount. And the highest on the other team, Jack, just 439, 200 behind.
Yeah.
It was just, that was a very, very tough game to be in, I think. And GHC, thank you for competing and joining us in this tournament. And sorry you had to go out in, such a fashion. It was a rough one. But I think similarly in that sentence, BRG has really shown that they're like playing really good, tight, clean Dota. There was not a lot of mistakes in their plays, no.
Nah, not a lot of mistakes. Of course, there's nothing is perfect. There's going to be situations you get caught out, but what I loved about what they did here today is that it was very clear what they wanted to do, right? The order in which they got their heroes, how they played them in the lanes, the idea behind the draft. One thing I love seeing in Dota is not just a team that wins because they're a better mechanical team than you, but a team that wins because they have a better understanding of how Dota's supposed to function. And Black Rabbit Gaming certainly demonstrated that. I also want to send a very special shout out to Unique, right? I mean, I know we all want to talk about 626, that Tinker performance, that Void performance, amazing stuff. But firstly, like you mentioned, he got an absurd amount of GPM in this game, like just an absurd amount, right? But he didn't do it at the cost of not fighting. The only hero in this entire game who dealt more damage than him was the 626 Void Spirit. So he was involved in a lot of fights, right? Getting a lot of GPM while he was at it, being very effective on the map. Also did an absurd amount of building damage, right? The most in this game by far. But not the really interesting stat is that across these two games, a combined, I don't know how many minutes of Dota, at least an hour of Dota, he didn't die.
He didn't die
At all.
Wow.
At all.
Okay.
Not a single death on Unique.
That's
You went
clean.
11-0-20 on the Faceless Void. You went 15-0-12 on this Weaver. And it's not like... And the thing is, right, you're playing Void into Doom, right? You're playing Void into Doom Zeus, and you're playing Weaver into Axe Conquer. You are expecting to die. Playing these carry heroes, one or two deaths is acceptable, but he just doesn't. And it's not just because of he's playing really well, but the team is playing really well around him. Shout out also to Jobber as well, who I think was very on the ball with where he needed to be with his positioning on his supports, allowing and enabling his team to pretty much experience zero consequences for any of the moves they made around the map. I mean, game has changed. It's a rough loss because these were not easy games. But when they look back on it, right, when you look at this replay, I don't think you'll ever feel sad losing to this team because Black Rabbit Gaming played phenomenally across both games. And what they did today, which they did, what they didn't do today, which they did last time around, they didn't underestimate a weaker opponent. And that's why they get the 2-0.
Yeah, it's like you say, I think even just their drafting and their understanding of the pace of the game and the timings that they were hitting and stuff, it felt very much more polished than it was last season, a lot less erratic and taking advantage on the map when they needed to. Like it was not flawless. Obviously, there's always room for improvement, but in this, it was just so much better than I think even anybody expected, and GHC obviously just weren't able to account for that. But once again, thank you GHC for competing and joining us here in the tournament and stuff. Really do appreciate you guys showing up to compete and stuff. And BRG continues in the lower bracket to face more lower bracket wolves, because if this week's games have told us anything, it's a pit down here, and the wolf den is hungry, and you will get eaten up and spat out the other end in horrible ways. Snare, any final thoughts before we close off tonight?
Final thoughts for today is play Dota to... Don't just play Dota to win, right? But play Dota to increase understanding. And it's been very nice to see this group of players who we've seen for a long time over the years, but very clearly getting better as time goes on. And it requires work, it requires dedication. Put it in, and you'll find yourself very happily rewarded with results in the game. For example, like staying in a tournament, eliminating a very good team, and not going home. So they still have the hope alive. They still have a chance here, Wookie. 25 grand for first place, 50k prize pool in total. They still have a shot at it. So I'm very excited to see what they do going forward. And do you have any last words as the person who put this all together, as the man who is allowing this to take place?
I don't know who you calling Wookie all the time. I'm Yellowbs George, but I don't know who this Wookie guy is. I told you, I'm Yellowbs George. I'm him 10 years from now. So I don't know who you're referring to when you keep calling me a Wookie like that. No, well, it's cool to see really good Dota. I think the last 2 days, pretty much like let's say 90% of what we've put out and streamed is why we want to bring SA Dota to the forefront again. I think that we're at a point where we've got the most immortals, and highest level, a general level we've ever seen, and it's kind of a crime that it's not on the air. So that's why we're out here.
With those words of wisdom from Earlobes George, we're going to be closing out the stream for today. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us. Yet again, shout out to Game Has Changed for participating in the tournament. A very sad goodbye for you, but a very happy continuation for Black Rabbit Gaming as they continue to fight in the Wolf's Den. Once again, congratulations to Jesse Jazer for winning the prize earlier. Make sure that you keep watching every moment of the stream so you can also get yourself a nice free prize, some goodies, some source of appreciation from us here at EGL One. And thank you yet again for joining us for this game. We will be back on live again tomorrow, so make sure you stay tuned. Make sure you're following the channel. Make sure you have notifications enabled so you're aware when things go live. Of course, drop down to our Twitter, follow us there, follow us on Facebook, and give some appreciation to those who make this tournament possible, HP and Omen and Evesports, who put on this hype for us. Thank you for joining us. From myself, Snare, from YNROC, from Earlobes George, we are the EGL One team, and we're out of here. We'll see y'all tomorrow as we continue in the lower bracket. Don't go anywhere. Well, go anywhere now, but we'll see you back same time, same place for some more incredible South African Dota 2 action. Until then.